294. On the Dan Ryan, traffic is very light coming into downtown, but outbound some delays. That's why it's 35 out to the split. Your next reports at 4:08 News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Well, the rest of this afternoon, sun and clouds, not as cold, a high of 45. Could see some fog, rain, or drizzle later on tonight, a low of 36. Overcast and damp tomorrow with a high of 43-50 by Thursday. We've got 43 at O'Hare, 42 Aurora, 37 lakefront east winds at 5 miles an hour.
Featuring the news that matters and breaking news at any time. This is Chicago's news, traffic, and weather station. News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Coming up in the next half hour on News Radio WBBM, former Venezuelan President Nicholas Maduro appears with his wife in a New York courtroom to plead not guilty to drug trafficking charges. The latest on that ahead from CBS News. Meantime, a Chicago area congressman prepares a move to limit U.S. action in Venezuela, while others praise the capture of Maduro. Plus,
this is Andy Dane with the data on violent crime across Chicago in 2025.
In sports, the Bulls are in Boston to take on the Celtics. Business.
I'm Tom Busby at Bloomberg. A new record high for the Dow today, which shot up 595 points. The NASDAQ up 160, the S&P up 44 on big gains in energy and tech stocks.
It is 4 o'clock.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. Ousted Venezuelan President Nicholas Maduro has appeared in court in New York, where he and his wife have pleaded not guilty to federal drug trafficking and other charges. CBS's Cammie McCormick.
Outside the courthouse in New York, some Venezuelans celebrated.
I'm feeling very, very happy, very, very excited.
Inside, Maduro declared himself an innocent and decent man. The legal proceeding will likely kick off a protracted fight over whether he can be put on trial in the U.S. Both Maduro and his wife agreed to remain detained for now. Legal contributor Caroline Polisi.
If he gets convicted on all 4 counts, you're looking at 30, 40 years to life.
His next court appearance will be in March. Defense Secretary Hegseth said today the U.S. forces who participated in the raid numbered less than 200.
Delcy Rodriguez, the vice president under Maduro, has been officially sworn in as Venezuela's interim president. No foreign journalists are allowed inside Venezuela right now, so CBS's Lilia Luciano reports from the country's border with Colombia.
Most importantly right now is the figure of Delcy Rodriguez and how far she is willing to go to do what the United States is asking in terms not just of oil, but of persecuting drug traffickers.
The U.S. military intervention in Venezuela has reignited fears about President Trump's desire to obtain Greenland, the autonomous Danish territory. Reaction from a woman in Copenhagen.
I think we have a big responsibility to push back and to let him know that this is not something that he can just own, he can just possess.
Several European countries have urged Trump to stop threatening a NATO ally. The CDC updates its childhood immunization schedule to recommend fewer vaccines, despite the opposition of the American Academy of Pediatrics. CBS News medical contributor Dr. Celine Gounder on her concerns.
Very often, we don't even realize someone is high risk until they develop a severe infection that can lead to hospitalization and death. And do we really want to wait for those infections to occur?
Jury selection begins in the trial for former schools officer Adrian Gonzalez. He's accused in the slow police response to the deadly 2022 Uvalde school shooting. CBS's Karen Hua in Houston.
Adrian Gonzalez is the first law enforcement officer in Texas charged for failing to act during an active shooter situation. He's facing 29 counts of child endangerment and abandonment, and he's pled not guilty.
On Wall Street, the Dow ends at a record. The surge was led by Chevron, an unexpected beneficiary of the U.S. engineered shakeup in Venezuela. All 3 major Wall Street indices ended higher, with the Dow finishing up 1.2% and just shy of 49,000. This is CBS.
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age.
What's up, everybody? SubX.News on the spot reporting. Happy New Year. Hopefully everybody's doing all right. We're getting on our way. I don't know what we're going to do today, where we're going to do. I don't have no clue what we're doing. I know that the crime wave is starting again in the city. We had, I counted at least 6, 7 shot, if not more, in the last 12 hours. We had a triple and a double. So we're not doing too good in the city. I have to tell you that. We're not doing great at all. Not in our crime So that's bad. And we got this Venezuela stuff going on. I don't know why you would be against that. That's a strange thing. I don't understand that. Maybe we'll talk about that a little later after the news.
Proposal is one response to the Trump administration's decision to capture the country's leader.
Maduro is a bad guy who should not be in charge of Venezuela.
But Democrat Raja Krishnamurthy says the administration's decision to capture him and bring him to New York leaves the U.S. open to an extended military deployment in that country, similar to operations in Iraq and Afghanistan.
I have not yet met a single person who wants any part of that.
Krishnamurthy, who's one of 10 Democrats running for U.S. Senate, says he'll introduce a bill this week barring the use of federal tax dollars for any occupation in Venezuela. By contrast, Peoria area Republican Darren LaHood praised the operation on social media, saying in part that Maduro is flooding the U.S. with illegal drugs, and now he'll be held accountable for what LaHood calls his destruction. LaHood has not responded to our request for an interview. Jeff Buckles, News Radio 105.9, WBBM.
The Chicago Police Department touting what they call dramatic reductions in violent crime across the city last year.
CPD's annual review is highlighted by a nearly 30% drop in homicides last year compared to 2024. The 416 recorded in 2025 also marked the city's lowest number since 1965. The department also reporting record low shooting incidents and victims last year. Last week, Police Superintendent Larry Snelling credited partnership between CPD and city leaders.
Everyone working together across the board. Internally within the Chicago Police Department, top-down leadership, intelligence-driven policing.
Mayor Johnson commended community violence intervention efforts for the reductions.
Clearly, we are in a much stronger position.
Report also notes a 71% clearance rate for homicide cases in 2025, as well as the recovery of more than 11,000 illegal firearms. Andy Day, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Now to the latest on a cold case out of Will County. 37 years later could have been solved. The case ends with a 82-year-old man now charged with murdering his wife.
An eyewitness claims that on December 9th, 1988, an argument between husband and wife, Joan and Gilbert Bernal Sr., ended with the husband becoming violent and dragging Joan to the back of the home they shared in Joliet at the time. This was the last time anyone would see Joan. Gilbert Bernal had reported her missing later that month, telling police that he had left her at a bus stop in Oklahoma. Joan Bernal's body has never been found, but reopened leads led to Gilbert's indictment 37 years to the day she disappeared. He has been living in Flint, Michigan, and was taken into custody by a U.S. Marshals task force and quickly extradited back to Will County, where his next court appearance is scheduled for next Monday. Brandon Eisen, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Chicago police are warning residents in the Washington Park and West Woodlawn neighborhood about a string of armed robberies. In each incident, 2 of the 4 suspects exited a white sedan and approached a victim between 3 and 5 a.m. Then the suspects displayed handguns and demanded the victim's property before driving away. In one incident, they forced the victim into the sedan and demanded access to his bank account. No one is in custody. A suspect is charged with stealing thousands of dollars worth of sports cards during a grand opening near Grays Lake.
Lake County prosecutors say 41-year-old Stephen Peregrine took high-valuable collectible cards from State Line Sports Cards in Third Lake last week during an opening event that included an autograph signing by Bears legend Dan Hampton. Surveillance images posted online helped identify Peregrine, who later contacted the store, returned the stolen items worth more than $4,300, and turned himself in. He's now charged with felony retail theft and is due back in court on the 28th. Rachel Pearson, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Police looking through evidence, searching for the gunman that shot and killed a man on the city's south side. It happened last night at the Shell gas station just behind a bus stop at the intersection of Garfield and South Halsted. Police say a man in a white SUV opened fire on a 43-year-old man while driving past the intersection. The man then got on the bus. The bus driver called 911. He was taken to the hospital where he died. At this time, there's no one in custody. It's 4:08. Time to check in on the roads now. Traffic.
So what's up, everybody? So they're telling us that crime is down. They just told us there's a bunch of robberies that happened. They just said that some dude got shot and died and I have that one on our page. He got shot and asked for help from the CTA driver before he died at the hospital. We had a double and a triple. The double happened down by me by 33rd and Western. That's when I heard the sirens. I posted that early this morning. Didn't you see that? Said I heard those sirens. And then there was a triple on 15th. I think that's North Lawndale over there. Might be North Lawndale. It might be Pilsen. It's right on that edge there. I think it's Lathrop Elementary. The 15th, what was it? I don't know if it was... Oh, it's something, I don't know if was it Racine and 15th? I don't know what it's right there on the border. It might be Lawndale. It might be Pilsen. It might be Marshall Square. I don't know what it is over there. But you got a triple there, and it happened this morning at 10 o'clock. They didn't even mention that one, did they? Did they? A triple shooting? They didn't even mention that. So we had a double and a triple within 12 hours. And as I posted, that's 5 shot. They only recorded as 2 events. Yes, I have that recorded. That, you know that mass shooting that happened last summer during NASCAR where 18 people were shot? Is it 18 or 19? The Buzzcock or whatever her name was, the rapper. You know they only counted it as 1 event. They didn't count it as 18 shootings. They counted it as it was 4 dead. It was 4 dead, 14 shot, I believe. They don't count it as 18. They count it as one event. We're going to come out with this report. We're going to show you how this works. Does that mean crime isn't down? Yeah, crime is down, but crime is down across the whole country. One of the things is because there's an article I wrote already on this preliminary. Well, they let the crime happen after the George Floyd riots. The police abdicated their duties. They let them burn cities. They let them do crime. COVID come around. They didn't do anything, right? And crime skyrocketed. Now crime is going down. If you look at the overall averages, we're about where we should be. If we didn't have all that stuff happen, we're close to it. They say it's a 65-year average low. Nah, it isn't. It isn't. If you use their own numbers, if they're saying we're as low as 1965, let me show you how. I'm not going to swear this year, but I was right about to. I'm going to say this. If they say we're at 1965 levels, are we up or are we down? We're up. Because in 1965, we had 3.5 million people. Now we only have 2.5 million. So we had 1 million more people. So per cap, the rate is higher. And the amount of murders is still the highest in the United States. So we're nowhere near where we should be. Nowhere even close. Their own numbers don't even make sense. That's how much they lie. They say, oh, we're down since the 1960s, but in 1960s we had 3 million people. So they lie so much they can't even figure it out. It's like the Maduro stuff. Let's get out of Gaza. Let's get out of Ukraine. Now it's let's get out of, oh wait, no, we want to stay in, no. What are they arguing for Venezuela again? I don't remember. I don't think they do. They say they don't want war, but there ain't no war. What war is there? There is no war there. We're not at war with Venezuela. Who said we're at war with them? The guy had an arrest warrant. If that's legal or not, that'll be played out in the courts. We got him and we did it. We did that with Noriega. This is not nothing. This is not something that hasn't been done. We did that with Noriega. We picked out the guy because he was connected to drugs, and that was it. In Noriega's case, we had a bunch of people down. In Grenada's thing, we had a bunch of people down. Right now, we don't have nobody in Venezuela. I don't think we have any contractors. We might have some CIA people down there, but that's about it. So let's listen to the news, see if there's anything on.
Michigan State University. Carolina Garibay, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
The Illinois primary is set for March 19th, and you're bound to see and hear a lot of stories about election-related polls before then. One research expert says the best way to determine whether a survey is credible is to look at who was interviewed and what specific questions were asked. Dr. Ed Cohen tells WBBM News Radio that the margin of error number you often see reported doesn't say much about the survey's credibility.
I really would rather see the nuts and bolts of that survey and what is being disclosed around that survey. What is the way that survey was conducted?
He says if the survey is flawed, the margin of error doesn't matter. Warmer for the first week of 2026. We're going to have the AccuWeather 5-day forecast next.
Proud to be named the 2025 Station of the Year.
So we got elections coming up. But again, think about what did this guy just say about these surveys and these whatevers that he said, the statistics. He goes, it's flawed if they don't tell you how it's made. So think about it. The city says crime is down because they're down as much as the numbers in 1965. It's not true, first of all. Secondly, I mean, they're down. The numbers are down. They're down. The other part is we had 3.5 million people then. So per cap, our rate is higher. And we're going to be writing about this. Then there's other statistics that show why the crime is down. There's other statistics that show actually crime is higher in different parts because of the places where there's little less density. Also, police now are doing more triage on site. Every shooting has tourniquets, chest presses. A lot of these guys are ex-military, so they're trained in this stuff. So we're saving lives. They haven't even reported that. They keep saying it's the crime interventionist, it's this. No, it's not. It's not. There's no crime intervention. So I've been on over 100 crime scenes last year. I've never seen one guy. The only place where I've seen those crime interventionists is on Madison Street where Tubbs was shot. In that area. By Lorne, that's the only place I've seen those crime interventionists. Only spot. Never seen them anywhere else before, after, or during a shooting or anything. I've never seen one person there doing any intervention. None. Zero. This is to the weather.
You're eligible for a cash settlement. Our attorneys may be able to get you justice, closure, and substantial compensation while your case remains fully confidential. Receive the financial settlement you deserve and hold those responsible accountable. Call now to find out if your case qualifies for compensation. Don't wait. Call our law firm's 100% confidential clergy abuse helpline right now to seek justice and compensation. Call 800-712-3253. That's 800-712-3253. 800-712-3253. 4:15, the AccuWeather 5-day forecast sponsored by Four Seasons, heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electric. Here's meteorologist Brian Thompson.
Lisa, a lot of clouds around right now. We've been seeing clouds increasing over the course of the afternoon. Still seeing some sunshine on parts of the area, especially across some southern suburbs and across northwest Indiana. But again, the clouds will be thickening up tonight. A bit of rain and drizzle later on, along with some patches of fog. Low 36. Could have a touch of rain, drizzle, and fog into tomorrow. An overcast, damp day, a high of 43. And maybe a bit of drizzle early tomorrow night, otherwise cloudy, low 31. Now by Wednesday, clouds will try to break for some sun. The breeze will pick up with a high of 46. Even a bit warmer Thursday, despite clouds and some rain moving in during the afternoon and into the nighttime hours. So we'll have a high of Thursday around 51. And still some rain possible into Friday. Cloudy and chillier, high of 43. 43 right now at O'Hare. It's 45 at Midway, 42 at Naperville, 37 at the Lakefront, and we're going down to 36 tonight. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson.
Brian, thank you. It is 4:16. When looking for a Chevrolet, visit Apple Chevrolet.
That's exactly what you just said, Ms. Dor. It doesn't make sense. There was more businesses, more factories, more people inside of Chicago. So we had 400 murders in 1960, and we have 400 murders now. Just do the math. 2.5 million versus 3.5 million. The per cap percentage then would be more now. In fact, we'll do a quick write-up on that tonight. But here's the thing. Right now we have less density, meaning we had more concentrations of people in certain areas. And I'm sad to say it was in the projects. And there was those were high crime areas, right? Because they dumped a lot of drugs in there. They stopped funding in there. And there was a lot of crime in those areas. Well, when you when you get rid of the projects, you get rid of those high concentrations of people, then what? Crime goes down. The crime numbers go down. Not only do you get rid of the density, you get rid of the people, right? Secondly, you're losing people citywide. You drop down 1 million people, you're going to have less crime. Last, if you let crime go up artificially during COVID and during the Floyd riot time, right? Which is known, it's absolutely known that that's happened. And then you enforce the crime now, then what's going to happen? Crime is going to go down. Of course it's going to go down. Or it'll go down naturally, right? The crime can't keep going up if there isn't enough victims. But as you heard today, they were still robbing people. They're burglarizing people. I've seen burglaries today. A bunch of cars got burglarized. A bunch of businesses got burglarized. People are getting robbed. So it's not a safe city. It is what it is. but it's in relation to where we should be. It's not what they're talking about.
States. Here's Neil.
Heavy traffic on the Stevenson guys coming inbound from First Avenue to past Central. You have a crash. 42 in from the Veterans, 34 in from the Tri-State with big delays going out as well. 37 at the Tri-State Tollway and 50 to head out to the Veterans Tollway. You can avoid delays like these. Metro West to remind you to pick up a train. The Heritage Corridor line's available in Summit. Looking at the tollways, a pretty big delay on the Tri-State southbound, especially from the Grand Avenue curve to before the Eisenhower. Emergency vehicles there into left lanes trying to repair a damaged wall from an earlier crash that was northbound right in that area. In Northwest Indiana, delays continue on I-94 eastbound, passing State Road 249 to US 20 in Burns Harbor. Earlier crash we had there has cleared. Back to the expressways on the Illinois side. Your travel time on the inbound Edens, 25. Outbound, no delays. 15 to Lake Cook Road. On the Kennedy, about 37 either way between O'Hare and downtown. If you hop in the express lanes on the outbound Kennedy rather, from downtown, you will save about 3 in the express to head out to the Edens. On the Eisenhower outbound, 33 to Manheim, 51 to the Jane Addams Tollway, 53 in, you're 30 minutes in from Manheim. South side, the Dan Ryan 35 out, 15 in. Slight delays on 57 and the Ford, and backups on DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Either way, getting towards Chicago Avenue at the stoplight. Traffic sponsored by Mercedes-Benz of Hoffman Estates. Drive with confidence in any Chicago weather with an all-wheel drive Mercedes-Benz from Mercedes-Benz of Hoffman Estates. Check out the performance and affordability with over 800 vehicles at MercedesHoffman.com, a leader in satisfying customers. Your next report's 428 News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
For the rest of this afternoon, some sun and clouds, not as cold, a high of 45, then some fog, with rain and drizzle moving into tomorrow, a low tonight of 36, a high tomorrow of 43. 43 at O'Hare now, 36 Waukegan, 37 Lakefront. Big rally on Wall Street to begin the first official trading week of the year. The Dow up 600. It's 420. Our top story this hour, hundreds of thousands of Illinois residents are debating whether or not to forego health care in the new year because Congress continues to debate if it will extend those federal health care subsidies. We're going to take a closer look coming up at 4:31. Well, it began as a challenge in the UK nearly a decade ago. Now, dry January has become a thing for millions of people around the world. In a Logan Square.
Excuse me. So let's talk about this, the bigger thing. We have a mayor who made comments about Venezuela, that it's illegal. What does our mayor have to do with Venezuela? Why is he talking about Venezuela? We spent $1 billion on migrants. No one's saying, well, why did the migrants leave Venezuela? Because it's so good or what? Why are migrants in our city? Why do we have to spend $1 billion on migrants? And then you're saying we shouldn't get rid of the dictator or the president or whoever that guy was? I don't care what reason they got rid of him. Oil, drugs, I don't care. If we're spending $1 billion in our city and there's a bunch of these migrants from Venezuela here, which I know, we got hundreds of hours of videos of these guys, right? That our broadcast is called Chicago Economy, Crime, and Migrant Update. The reason is it started by the migrants. This broadcast started 3 years ago because we were recording the migrants. It didn't start because of crime. It didn't start because of the economy. It started because of the migrants. I was driving from downtown and like, where are all these people here? And then I said, oh, they're the migrants. And they were all over. And we've seen them in the police. I visited every police station. I think I'm the only reporter in the city of Chicago that visited every police station. I've also visited every park district because I can tell you every park district, I have pictures and I have videos of every park district and every police station where the migrants were. I have it. I've done it. So that's why I started this radio broadcast, and now we have a guy talking about, oh, you can't remove them, it's illegal. Like, what? But why are all those Venezuelans in our city? How did the Venezuelans get here? Why are they here? Because they wanted to stay in a winter, well, I don't know what, smoking crack cocaine on a corner in the middle of winter in Chicago? I don't think so. They got a jungle over there where it's warm. I talked to these guys, talked to these migrants, so did Johnny Boom Boom. I know them. They're criminals, some of them are okay. I would say on a ratio there, I mean, a lot of them are illegals. I mean, they came across the border illegally through the Biden's program. But there are some of them that are right. They're working. They do their stuff. I know some of them that are legal here. They got their paperwork done, right? They have families. They're working. They got jobs. They did the paperwork necessary to stay here legally. So there are some that are criminals that I know personally. There's some migrant criminals I know personally that are in jail now. I know some of those. They're on my videos. There's some of them that are on my videos that are in jail right now because I was around them all the time, right? I think one guy killed somebody. He's on one of my videos. So it is what it is. I mean, I'm not making an excuse one way or another for these guys, but why are they here? They're here because of a reason, because that country's destabilized, and now our president took out the leader, and now we have the union and we have the mayor saying it's illegal. Like, what's that? So you're saying that we should keep funding migrants in our city, right? Why are they here again? 'Cause everybody knows that the teachers union did go to Venezuela, right? They did an illegal trip sponsored by the union, send a delegation to meet Maduro. There's videos and pictures of it. Look up, Google Chicago Teachers Union Venezuela visit. Actually, one of the people who went is the one that was in Puerto Rico during COVID, Sarah Chambers. You remember that one? When they were on COVID and she was blogging from Puerto Rico saying we shouldn't go back to school while she was in Puerto Rico. She wasn't fired, she wasn't disciplined, which was illegal at the time. You weren't supposed to travel out of the state. Remember we had those travel restrictions? We had a travel restriction. Everybody remembers that, right? Illinois had a travel restriction. We could not leave. We could not leave as government employees. I was a government employee at the time. I was still an employee at CPS. We could not leave the state. We were banned. That lady was in Puerto Rico blogging. That lady is the same one that was down in Venezuela. Look up Sarah Chambers, Puerto Rico, Venezuela. You'll see 2 articles about it. So now the question is, why are they involved in that stuff, right? I got an idea and I got a theory, and I'm going to write about it. It's a very complex theory, but it's what I've been saying. Drug dealers and the union are narcs. Every drug dealer that deals drugs is a government agent. Every single one of you, man. You guys are government agents. You are tax collectors on the poor. Right? It's a way to collect taxes, right? It's long written about. Drug dealers, prostitutes, juice men, all of that stuff. You collect money from the poor. You're in that under the table market, right? The people who do other types of work, they work for cash, right? Undocumented, returning citizens, you name it, whatever it is. They make cash money, and then drugs, gambling, prostitution, loan sharking, boosting, whatever you call it. There's a guy, he's jacked up right there, man. There's a guy jacked up right there by the library. They're collectors for the government. And that fenced off. That whole park is fenced off. It's got a lock on it, right? So the drug dealers can't be in there during the winter. And that's what they do. And in the union, it's documented through my old mentor, George Schmidt, God rest his soul, that they were work with the CIA to destabilize governments. Let's think about it. You're visiting a country that's messing with its people illegally, and now all of a sudden you're saying we shouldn't depose that person that destabilized the country. It's kind of weird. It's kind of fishy. Why are you messing with that stuff? So George Schmidt wrote about it. I might have to do part 2, but I'm not as good a writer as he is. You can Google that book too. The AFT, American Federation of Teachers, and the CIA, George Schmidt. I do have it on my page. You'd have to look for it. But if you Google, look, I don't do anything you can't Google, all right? So we're going to listen to the 4:30 news now because it's more local. We're going to hear what's going on in Chicago, and I'll hear some radio calls. And we might cut it short today about 5:30 or 5. We'll see, okay?
That's great. On the Kennedy
So to
inbound,
430 news
42
now.
From O'Hare in, 22 off the junction, heavy from the River Road toll to Nagel, and then from the Edens to the Janeburn interchange. Outbound, you're at 18 to Montrose. Hit the express, you save 4. 36 to drive out to O'Hare. On the Eisenhower inbound, 53 minutes, 30 in from Manheim, heavy from North Avenue to the Splains, and a backup from Western into the Janeburn interchange. Brake lights on the outbound side of 290 between Racine.
So it's 4:30. You see it's empty in downtown Chicago. There's no excuse no more, right? It's Monday. It's 45 degrees out. There's no one in downtown. And we might park here and show, right?
You South Lakeshore Drive traffic either way approaching Chicago Avenue.
I might get another video,
on the Tri-State
right?
southbound, a backup from the Bensonville Bridge to before 290. We had some emergency vehicles fixing a wall in that area. Looks like that's all cleared up now. Northwest Indiana, nothing major to share. From the Metro Traffic Center, next report, 438, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Right now, cloudy skies, 43 degrees at 429.
I'm Steve Malman from Malman Law. Nursing homers.
So we'll do a quick video here.
Always announce itself. It hides in broken bones, bed sores that shouldn't exist. A serious.
So we're going to listen to the local news. Maybe after the local news, we'll do some radio calls. And that's about it for today. I might go home and I got some paperwork to do. I got to go talk to the police about a couple of my personal cases.
We fight back. Call us at 888-MALM-AND-LAW or visit malmanlaw.com.
I'm trying to get my other phone working here.
Chicago's news, traffic, and weather station. News Radio 105.9 and WBBMNewsRadio.com.
4:30, good afternoon. I'm Lisa Fielding. Here are the top stories on News Radio WBBM.
600,000 people in Illinois could drop health insurance with the future of government health up in the air. Political editor Jeff Buckles in Bronzeville with the story of 2 people facing that reality.
Local faith leaders gather to condemn property tax hikes on Chicago's South and West Side residents. An investigation underway on the city's far north side after a woman is found dead on a CTA train. Plus, Venezuela's president appears in a New York courtroom pleading not guilty to narco-terrorism charges. Sports, Bulls on the road to take on Boston in business.
Big gains for Wall Street thanks to energy, banking, and tech stocks. The Dow up 595 points to a fresh record high. The Nasdaq getting 160, the S&P up 44. I'm Tom Busby at Bloomberg.
Cloudy skies, 43 degrees. The news continues, sponsored by Shutter Hut. Hundreds of thousands of people in Illinois are facing a difficult choice. This as Congress reconvenes to consider a new extension of health benefits designed to help people buy insurance. The story from WBBM political editor Jeff Buckles.
Here's what we're talking about. Tax credits for people who buy health insurance through the Affordable Care Act marketplaces. Those credits were enhanced during the COVID-19 pandemic, but they expired last week, and there's no clear direction on whether to re-extend them. Cook County Health CEO Dr. Eric Makaitis told reporters at the Bronzeville Community Health Center that lack of action will force people to delay needed medical care until an issue becomes a crisis.
Approximately 600,000 Illinois residents could lose coverage due to cuts to Medicaid and the loss of the ACA tax credits.
Doug Bochart says his wife Shadeen has relied on ACA coverage for treatment.
Downtown is empty on the first work day of the year, January 5th, 2025.
Now a policy that used to cost $1,400 a month costs $2,100.
Congressmen and senators need to put themselves in our position.
Cook County leaders say they're stepping up outreach to make sure affected people know their options. We're in Bronzeville. Jeff Buckles, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Local faith leaders standing up for what they say
downtown is empty on the
assessments
first.
for particularly residents on the south and west sides of Chicago.
We are the lawyers on behalf of those who have erroneous tax rates. We're going to file some cases.
Jeanette Wilson, senior advisor for Rainbow Push, says that while wealthy property owners downtown have the legal resources to fight back against unfair assessments, many low-income residents on the south and west sides do not. And that's where she and other faith leaders are stepping in.
We have seniors who will lose property because of these erroneous tax increases.
Southside faith leaders say that some Inglewood residents saw an 80% increase. On the west side, Reverend Marshall Hatch says the residents in Lawndale saw a 99% increase, in West Garfield up to 133%, while properties like Trump Tower received a 39% reduction.
And so clearly, Donald Trump gets the tax break, and on the west side, we get the tax bill. This cannot stand.
The faith leaders send a warning to elected officials that in addition to legal action, they will be on a campaign to effect change at the polls this year. At Trump Tower, Brandon Eisen, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
A death investigation underway after a woman was found unresponsive on a CTA train in Rogers Park. It happened this morning in the 7500 block of North Paulina. Police say the unidentified 58-year-old woman died on the scene, but didn't provide any other details of how. The CTA and detectives continue to investigate. Now to the latest with Venezuelan President Maduro making his first court appearance, where he faces drug trafficking charges.
Security was as tight as it has ever been outside the Manhattan federal courthouse, where captured Venezuelan President Nicholas Maduro and his wife Cecilia Flores were arraigned on narco-terrorism charges Monday, both pleading not guilty. Protesters both for and against his capture squared off as police put up barricades to separate them in the park across the street. Some wore large Venezuelan flags draped across their shoulders. Others wore red Make America Great Again baseball caps. Signs read, "No war for Venezuelan oil" and "Free President Nicolas Maduro." Meanwhile, inside the courthouse, it was orderly. Still, there were twice as many journalists as usual and 5 overflow courtrooms so that those extra journalists and spectators could watch the government's case unfold on large screens. Julie Walker, New York.
In an unprecedented overhaul of childhood vaccines, the U.S. drops the number of vaccines it recommends for every child. Here's health reporter Sabrina Cupid.
It's now recommended that children get just 10 vaccines. That's down from 17 on the previous schedule. It's still recommended that children get the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccines and immunizations against polio, chickenpox, HPV, and others. But when it comes to recommendations for vaccination against RSV, meningococcal disease, hepatitis B, and hepatitis A, those are recommended for high-risk individuals. When it comes to flu, COVID-19, and rotavirus vaccinations, that'll be left up to parents and doctors to decide.
Medical experts are slamming the move, saying it could lead to reduced uptick of important vaccinations and increased disease. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz says he's exiting the 2026 gubernatorial race amid growing fraud scrutiny.
Walz is dropping his bid for a third term, stating he can't balance a re-election campaign and give his all to serving the people of Minnesota.
I'm on the job. I'm focused on making sure that we stay America's best place to live and raise kids. No one will take that away from us.
He continues to face intense pressure from federal investigators over the state's alleged multi-billion-dollar fraud problem. He took no questions following the announcement. Taylor Rivera for CBS News, Minneapolis.
Swiss police say they've identified all 116 people who were injured in the deadly New Year's bar fire. It comes as more than 2/3 of them are still in the hospital. Authorities had previously reported that 119 people were injured on top of the 40 people killed, but 3 people were mistakenly counted from a separate incident. As for the investigation, Swiss officers have opened a criminal investigation into the bar's managers suspected of involuntarily causing that fire. Coming up in about a minute, low gas prices, traffic and weather together. Next, it's 4:36.
You'd love new windows, but don't want to pay a fortune for them. Hey, it's Josh. Well, during Window Nation's Buy 4, Get 4 Windows free sale, you could also get 0 down, 0 monthly payments, and 0 interest for 2 years. Let them know Josh or News Radio sent you. Hurry, sale ends soon.
Yeah, that's bad. We've been a good country for a while. Look, you don't need to get vaccines, I get you. But you need to do basic stuff, man. That's how we beat polio, we beat measles. It's proven that some of these vaccines work. I get it. I agree with the COVID. That might have been too fast of a rollout, might have been all set up. But these other vaccines, they work, and now they're reducing that. That's bad. I mean, I had a dude, I got a story of vaccine. Dude was an anti-vaxxer. Listen to this. He asks his boys coming over to play poker one day, do you guys get you guys got COVID or not? His own buddies lied to him. His own buddies lied to the anti-vaxxers. So the anti-vaxxers lied to the anti-vaxxers. They were lying to each other, right? One of them had COVID. He passed the COVID to the anti-vaxxer. They're all anti-vaxxers. Dude died 2 weeks later. That's a true story, man. I went to the guy's memorial and everything. I knew the guy, man. Right? So, COVID was real. It killed people. And we can say the vaccine, I agree, the vaccine was maybe fast. Did it save people? I don't know. I mean, I think I got COVID even after I got vaccinated. It is what it is. I didn't agree with all the shutdowns. I had to work the shutdowns because I was in the government at the time. I just told you guys, right? I was part of the government. I was a government employee, right? I was a CPS employee working at the union at the time during COVID. So I know all of that stuff. I actually wrote a lot of the COVID stuff for the union, huh? Yeah, I did.
2 right lanes are blocked. This is also with a garbage.
I was on top of that. I knew when COVID was starting, long before COVID started.
After it reportedly hit the overpass, and it's apparently on this garbage truck. So a lot to see as you drive by on the Bishop Ford outbound again before 130th. Unfortunately, some injuries are involved in this as well. Before 130th, you have 2 right lanes blocked, and you're packed in from 111th Street for right now 25 to drive out to 8094, but expect that to get much worse. Appreciate tipster Jesus and Jim for both calling in on the WBBM Mercedes-Benz and Paul Estates traffic tip line, 855-780 road. For right now, avoid the outbound side of the Ford. At 557 will help you. You might want to use that, or you can use Torrance instead. Looks like we still have a crash working on the Stevenson inbound past Central. Stop and go before First Avenue. 46 to drive in from the Veterans. You are 50 to drive out to 355. Travel time on the Edens end, 25 and 17 out. Head to the inbound 42. You're 36 out to the airport. You save about 4 in the express lanes on the outbound Kennedy between downtown and the Edens. On the Eisenhower out 32 to man.
Everybody is, Holly, including that the migration stuff. My wife's a scientist. She's got a chemistry degree. She said some of that stuff might have been forcing the diseases across borders. She knows how to talk about that more than I do. She's got a chemistry degree, so she understands some of that stuff better than I do. And she explained it to me once before that it's like, look at it, look at how empty it is here. I gotta start up my other camera here, right? Look at how empty it is here. It's 4:30, it's 4:40. Oh, it's remote day, right? Remote COVID, right? That's what those weirdos say, all the transplants. Oh, it's remote day. Remote what, man? We ain't got COVID no more, do we? Look, it's completely empty down there.
It is 4:40. The Chicago community is mourning the loss of a well-known chef and entrepreneur.
Decades-long staple of Chicago's dining scene, Steve Chiappetti, has died at the age of 58. A native of Chicago's South Side, Chiappetti was inspired from an early age by the traditions of European cooking. His first restaurant, Mango, opened in the 1990s, and he later went on to open several others, including Mediterranean Cafe Grapes and Rhapsody at the Chicago Symphony Center. Most recently, he served as vice president of food and beverage for Chicago-based Dreamweaver Hotels, leading the food and beverage vision for several Chicago hotels. Chiappetti was featured on WBBM several times, as well as many other Chicago media outlets. He died unexpectedly on Friday, January 2nd. Carolina Garibay, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Corporation for Public Broadcasting is officially shutting down.
Less than a year after the Trump administration and Congress voted to defund the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, it's voted to shut down. The CPB, which helped fund the operations of local public TV and radio stations, announced that its board of directors voted to close the organization after 58 years, rather than continue to exist and potentially be, quote, vulnerable to future political manipulation or misuse. Stacey Lynn, CBS News, the White House.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says the Pentagon has begun a process to demote Democratic Senator Mark Kelly of Arizona and cut his retirement pay. It follows a video where Kelly and others, a retired Navy captain, calls on service members to refuse illegal orders. National Security Consultant Jeff McCausland has more details.
Seems to me, in fact, that this whole thing could become mute pretty quickly. Because Mr. Trump has made over 30 posts against Kelly about this on social media, called this sedition, called for him to receive the death penalty, etc., which has resulted in death threats against Kelly and the other members of Congress involved.
In response, Kelly is calling the move outrageous and un-American. Top trending stories and the day in sports coming up. It's 4:42.
Struggling with no hot water in the mornings? A backed up clogged drain?
So we're in downtown Chicago. I haven't left yet. It's 4:43 p.m. So we're listening. They want to go anti-vax. They're going after Mark Kelly, a decorated war veteran. He went into NASA in the space capsule. His wife, Gabby Giffords, was just almost assassinated. I mean, yeah, that's here. I'm not gonna swear. I was just gonna swear. That's not. That shows you Trump is that Trump shouldn't be doing that. That's retaliation for free speech. He's not in a position to make any orders. He's retired. So what are you doing? And he's a sitting senator. He has a right to free speech. If anybody does, he does. And then you're going to punish him and strip him of his retirement? What kind of game is that, man? Is anyone on here that's a MAGA saying that's okay? Well, yeah, he talked against Trump. So what? That's the basis of our society, free speech. Isn't that how Trump got elected? Little Marco, Sleepy Joe. He made all those grabbing women's private parts. Didn't he say something about a woman bleeding, that she bleeds from her legs? Didn't he say that?
Running
come on, man. Wake up.
Nationwide, a robust new website and improved.
All right, let's get some radio calls going. Let's see if there's any action out here, right? Let's see if there's any action out here. Where do we go? We're gonna go here. We'll go back. What about till 3:45 maybe? Let's see if there's anything going on, right? And if we have to, we'll go chase some crime.
Transform your business today.
All right, some radio calls. Let's see how they are going. This is State Street. If you look here, you can. Let me show you this. See, this phone is acting up. Unbelievable. I'm gonna have to get a new phone. Oh! So here, let me talk about this before I get on the radio, on the things. So they clean on there. There's a couple of guys doing drugs back over here again. So I got a scam today. So everybody knows I'm in the middle of a whole bunch of stuff with my credit cards. I'm behind on them, right? And I'm trying to make deals with the credit cards and pay them off and blah, 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 right? So I'm getting collection letters and all of this stuff. And I called one of these letters, collection letters, right? And said, yeah, I'm willing to deal and pay it off. I don't want to be da-da-da-da-da, right? So they said, oh, you can do this and that. And I said, nah, I ain't got that much money, or this and this, and I have this. White dude, man, a drug addict right there, man. That dude's a drug addict. That white guy right there. I don't think he's the dealer there, but he's a drug addict right there. He's got a couple of guys over here. See that there? Right there, man. There you go, right? I'll show you the white drug addict, right? There's a white drug addict right here, man. And then I'll tell you this story, right? About my stuff today where I got scammed. I'm going to do a whole video on it. So, it's a drug addict right there. See him right there? That's a drug addict right there. White drug addict waiting for the drugs right there. See him right there. So, I talked to them last week. I said, I can do this and this and this. They said, oh, whatever. So I get a call this morning. It didn't hit me, right? I got a call real early. And someone said, hey, we're calling about the debt or whatever. I said, oh, all right. And then a phone call I got said Chase, which is from Chase credit card. I said, ooh, good. And then I talked to them. And they said, yeah, we want to transfer the money, or you can transfer the money. I didn't realize this till afterwards. Because the way the guy talked was really smooth. Really, really smooth. It's a white drug addict. And I gave him my routing number. I said, okay. It was for a lot of money. And I said, I can't pay it till next week because I'm going to transfer some money into my account to pay off the bills, right? And I gave him the routing number. I hung up the phone, and my son was in the room and goes, dude, man, it's like early in the morning. Banks don't call this early in the morning, and banks don't call you. I said, what? He goes, dude, that was you sure that was what you think it was? And I said, so then the number, I backtraced the number and I threw, that's the picture you guys see on the internet. I showed you the number. I threw that number on the search, right, on Google search, just a quick Google search. I threw the number in there. And it said that's a scam number, that they do it to everybody. But these guys coordinated with somebody that I called last week. I actually got a letter that says, hey, we're handling the collections for Chase. And I called them and talked to them for almost an hour to figure this out. So they must have been in tandem, and they called me today, and I gave them my bank account number. As soon as my kid told me that, and I figured out that I was just scammed, I closed the account, the bank account, right? It was a bank account. It wasn't a credit card. It was a bank account that I had some money in it, and I was going to transfer some more. And I shut down my bank. I had to go to my bank and redo everything. But I'm going to be doing a story on that. And I couldn't believe how easy I was scammed. And I was thinking, if I didn't have my son or my wife in the room that were listening to me when I was talking to them, I might have not stopped the bank account. Because I might have said, because look, I want to pay my credit card bills. That's why I did it. I don't want to rip people off. Look, just because I have a hard time, that's fine. But I still want to pay my bills, and that's what I was doing. I wanted to pay my bills off, and that's what I felt I was doing. So I just thought about how bad it is. So here I am getting back on my feet. I got a little bit of extra money, right? I'm working a little bit. I'm doing this. I'm getting a little advertising from this. I'm getting some money from other places. And I said, okay, I'm going to pay my bills, right? And I got all this saved up. It took me about a year to save up this money, and I was just about to get ripped off. Just about. And that's the story I'm going to be writing on. So be very careful. And then I realize this, and I say this all the time. If anyone asks for your routing number on the phone, that's not your friend. If anybody asks for your routing number, no way. There's no reason someone should have your routing number. Not at all. None. Why? Because you can do it through Zelle. They don't need your routing number. They just use your phone and Zelle it to you. Right? I've had guys try to rip me off through Zelle and through the Cash App too. So that you see that white doper left, right? So that's the big story from today. I almost lost a lot of money. They just say that. Almost lost a lot of money today. Almost. I'll be doing a video story on that. Actually, I have everything recorded. I've recorded all my conversations with those people. So it's going to be interesting. I might do a sting operation. I'd like to put them in prison because I'm sure they ripped off a lot of people. And they don't have accents. They were all Americans. There was no foreign accents at all. You couldn't tell that they were ripping me off. Like I said, I didn't think about it because they worked with the letter. I got a letter that says, hey, we're the collection agency. And I called them and we talked about it. And they said this and this and this. And I said, okay, but I can't do this and this. And then all of a sudden I got another call today. So I thought it was all legit, but it wasn't. So I'll be doing a story on that one. Yeah, it was pretty bad. Yeah, and I know and here, this is the way I think about it. And look, and no one should ever get ripped off. Hey, what's up, Marriott? But think about it. Here I am. I'm trying to get out of the hole. That's where I'm at. I'm trying to get out of the hole, right? And I'm saved up my money. I want to do right and pay my bills off, right? And I'm sure I'm not the only one that's in this situation. There's a lot of people, right? And most people want to pay their bills off and square them up one way or another, right? And then what happens? These guys, they almost got all my savings. Let's just say that. They almost got all my savings. Almost all my savings that I saved up for almost a year. Almost. So and it took me a while to get that money because I'm scraping and you know, I don't have regular work. I'm doing this on my own now, right? SubX.News. So it's different. Anybody who's ran a business, you know where I'm at, right? I'm at year 3 right now. So I'm starting to slowly make, I'm not minus right now. I might be even right now. I'm about even. I'm scraping, saving. Luckily, I have other incomes. My family has other incomes, not just mine. So they give me a little leeway, but I'm slowly saving, right? You know how it is in the beginning when you're starting a business. That first 2-3 years, you're zeroing, right? Right now, I'm about even, right? But I'm putting a little bit away. And so I wanted to start paying some of these bills off, the big bills I have. And luckily my wife and my kid were there, and they said, dude, man, what'd you just do? And I said, what do you mean? They asked you for that? And I said, yeah, that's these guys. They're the collection agency or something, blah, blah, blah. And like, you sure? And then that's when I checked the number, and it said fraudulent number. I do have a job. I run my business. What are you talking about, Marietta? This is my business. I own SubX.News. I'm the owner of SubX.News. This is my business. I'm a businessman. I own this company. SubX.News is not a Facebook page. It's a company. I hope you understand that. That's why I'm starting to also protect my business. I'm gonna be honest here, whatever. I'm starting to block people, left and right. If you're a left-wing terrorist or a MAGA and you do racist activities or you do terrorist activities on my pages, you're not invited here. This is a business. SubX.News is not, it's not Facebook or whatever you think it is, or just making money. No, SubX.News is my business. I'm a business. I've been in business since 2021. So when I started SubX.News, we're trademarked by the U.S. Trademark Office. We're a registered business. We're registered with Chicago. I'm a credentialed media with Chicago. I've been a credentialed media person in Chicago for over 20 years now. So this is, before I worked with George Schmidt. I didn't make no money. Now I'm trying to figure out how to make money for this. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. LLC or maybe I don't know, insurance. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. I haven't figured that out, Ms. Edora. I haven't figured that out. I should get some insurance. That's the next thing I'm gonna do this year, but that's about $1,000 a year, maybe $100 a month, maybe a little less. So I don't have that much money yet, right? I don't make that much. I make about $1,000 a month, maybe, and that's from ad revenues. And that doesn't cover my phone bills and my internet, right? My internet and my phone cost that much. And then that's not including my gasoline and repairs to my cars, right? My gasoline costs a month are about, you know what I should do, Ms. Zidor? What I should do, you guys, you know what you guys are telling me to do? I need to make a budget. That's what I need to do. I need to see how much I'm actually spending, right? And then I need to see how much I'm making and then zero that out, right? You know, even it out. Remember those days when we learned that in high school, the budgeting? And that's what I should do. I should say, this is what I minimally get from my ad revenue. Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's low. It's up and down. I mean, that's why I don't go to sleep some days, and you see me posting a lot of stuff, because the more I post, and if it's interesting, then I get more viewers, and if I get more viewers, I get more ad revenue. That's how it works, right? Some people know that. You get Facebook, Twitter. I get money from Facebook and Twitter. I get paid from both of them, so I get ad revenue from both. It takes a lot of work. Let me see this guy. Happy New Year, brother. How you doing? Whoa, watch out. What's up? Hey, man. How you doing, man? Good to see you, man. Oh, good to see you. Good seeing you. I'm talking to a bunch of people. I didn't see you the other day. I might stop for once. When are you around here? In the evenings? Whenever. If I see you. I'll drop some stuff off for you. We had some food for New Year's down by the university over there, so. And I'm figuring it out. I'm working on making a documentary of what's going on out on the streets. So if you would like to interested, and we make money, we all split it equally, all right?
I don't want to get in there.
Why not?
I'm secret.
You see, you ain't hiding from, you ain't like Maduro hiding from the feds, are you? I better get away from you. I don't want to get away from you. I don't want those damn, where are the military guys? Whatever. It don't matter, but we'll just talk, right? Because, you know, I'm always around doing this. I know some people don't like me, but I'm a reporter. I'm a reporter. That's what I do. And I don't like corruption.
You like what you're doing.
And I don't think anybody should be on the street, because I used to be on the street. And I think, see, you're the most important one here, because I always say, why aren't you in that building? Why don't they give like the building like some kind of deal where they let you stay in there, and you be like the watchman, you just stay in there. It's abandoned. It's safer than out on the street. You're not gonna you can't break that building there.
Yeah.
It's just bricks.
Yeah. It's people, you know, they got their way of doing things.
That's the point.
You got their way of doing things. You can say, hey, you know, this is what they do it.
That's
everybody. This country is about everybody getting his own stuff.
Yeah, but
you got to work. You got to be able to work to get what you want.
But if we work together, we can make more money. Look, if I work with you and I figure out how to make a video or a book or a documentary about homelessness in Chicago, I ain't greedy. I give you a bunch of that money. Because you may have made the book. Now I know some people would be greedy and rip each other out, but I ain't that way.
That's not the point.
See, here's my thinking. If I make money and I help you make money, then we both make money and we both go up. See, I believe in, this is my philosophy. If we all go up together, then we all make money. Some people want to go up and push you down. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
They forget about you.
And some people, you get up so they can push you down.
Don't. Hey, I've already fell twice.
They make you get up so they can push you down.
I used to, when I started working in the schools, I used to be a teacher in the old days. These old guys, they're really old guys. In their 60s and 70s, and I was young. They go, what goes up must come down. And trust me, I came down. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to figure it out. And I lived in the city all my life. I love downtown. I love there, and I want to figure out how to. I think there's ways to fix it, and I think especially guys like you that are here and are on the street, you know how to fix it.
Yeah, the fiction is you got to understand what's going on. We living on the laws of 666.
Yep.
The mark of the beast. I cannot work until I get rid of them numbers.
And people don't know that. And here's the other thing that I've been saying on all my videos. People think that you're going to pay to fix it, and no amount of money is going to fix it. No. It takes people power. Just this talking, it takes it.
The law, see, mostly we live under mob laws. These mob laws keeping us down. These mob laws keeping us in trouble.
And if you think it's going to get out of it, if you think you're going to use those laws to get out of it, you're going to stay in it. You're not getting out of it.
You can't use the mob laws. You got to use the laws that founded this existing law that founded this country.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, so once I take care of that, I can move. I can do other things. But those 666 is still.
So I'm gonna get going. What kind of things do you need? Because I do have a whole bunch of care packages. Actually, I got some care packages in here. You want one? I got cleaning kits and stuff. You want one or not? Gloves? I got one in there. I think I do. Yeah, I got the whole package because I got it. Because I used to do. I don't know if you remember. I used to do. I was this church guy. He went all around the whole United States doing stuff, preaching. You had to preach and get stuff from him. And I got a bunch of stuff from him. I don't even know what's in here. Yeah, stuff or not?
I'll check it.
You want that?
Yeah, I really. You want it? You need it?
It's up to you.
I really don't need it. I don't use it.
You don't need any of this stuff.
I may use the shade and stuff.
What do you want? You take what you want. You want the sock or not?
I want the sock. Well, let me see.
But look, take a look in there what you need. Let me see what else I got for you, okay? Let me see if I got a better one, all right? Tell me what you want. You grab what you want. skull cap. You need a skull cap?
Well, man, it's messed up after me, you know.
That's ain't too much good. I got that from somebody. Ain't too much good stuff in there, right? I got a bunch of these jugs too. Anything like that?
Yeah,
a big one for coffees?
Yeah.
Watch it flow.
That might be a big one.
Which one do you want? Any of these help?
Yeah.
Alright, yeah, that's what good. Okay. Here's a steel one. Oh man, that's a good one. You want a steel one?
Yeah,
There you go, that's a steel one, right? Alright, you want that or you want me to grab that from you? Or you want to keep everything? And give it, throw it away or give it to you? Yeah, that way so it don't freeze, right? Alright, what else do you need if I grab it? What works for you?
It's all depends, but
when do you need
that stuff, you know.
Okay, alright, don't lose your glove, alright?
Alright,
John, alright?
Right.
We'll talk a little later, alright? Don't worry, I'll keep you anonymous. And if I make money, I'll give you some, alright? Seriously, I'm trying to make a documentary.
Okay, well, I got a problem I got to solve before I start getting on the news and everything. But
I won't put you on, don't worry about it.
But anyway.
But we'll talk.
Yeah, okay.
I can still use you as knowledge.
Yeah, yes, sir.
You'll be. How about this? You'll be my consultant.
Okay.
Again, if we make money, we're gonna split it.
About money.
We'll
Don't talk about the money. Just talking about doing the right thing.
Here, I got an idea.
Don't worry about the money.
I got some ideas about stuff to stay in too. Okay.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right. See you, my brother. Okay.
Take care now.
All right. All right. So we had to talk to him, right? So let's keep going. 5:05. What's on the news?
Outreach and enrollment assistance so residents can understand their options, can maintain coverage when possible, and can transition into county care or other safety net programs when necessary.
The county estimates that about 600,000 people statewide could lose coverage because of the cuts to Medicaid and the loss of ACA tax credits. Detectives looking through security footage, searching for the gunman that injured multiple people on the west side. It happened this morning on West 15th Street. Police say 2 men and a woman were outside when a gunman approached and opened fire. 3 victims were taken to the hospital. Nearly a dozen faith leaders stood outside Trump Tower today, demanding answers from elected officials over property tax.
15th Street, I told you that shooting, right?
Saw a 39% reduction in taxes, while some residents on the south and west side saw increases in the double and even triple digits. New Mountain Pilgrim Church.
That guy sleeps there. He sleeps right underneath the plastic. That's all he sleeps on.
By 133%. Reverend Marshall Hatch says the issue is not going to go away.
A freeze and a rollback.
Yeah, whatever. We're gonna listen to some radio calls. How about that?
7388 Adam. 3250. 7384 Charlie.
84 Charlie.
Squad 2, you've been up 79th Street, the red line. 1 for the platform, 1 for the station.
Alright, station 08237, 08237, platform 08238, 08238.
3215.
3215.
Yeah, 19 fall. There was no box out here. She'll be in the area 1.
Alright, work. Use the 6 citywide task fire, 80th and directional. Caller has 45 gunshots in the back where he lives and her screaming as further running.
The units and 5 units on scene wide, a panic alarm, 756 East 111. Lexington Betty Smokehouse, keypad, panic front door, and electric acknowledgement was activated. No contact with key holder, nothing further is known. Time clear.
7388.
7388.
Blue line check at Cicero.
08341.
For the units this morning on the citywide, I got a person with a gun. We got 5615 South on Prairie, apartment 3, Charlie. Quick quarters calling regarding two guys that killed his brother here in an apartment above them. They have weapons inside, 2 males and 1 female, no description. Second district on that.
2 guys that killed his brother? Did you just hear that?
49. For the units this morning on the citywide, I got a person with a gun. We got 5615 South on Prairie, apartment 3, Charlie. Quick quarters calling regarding 2 guys that killed his brother here in an apartment above them. They have weapons inside, 2 males and 1 female, no description.
Now you hear that? They killed his brother up there. 551st and Prairie.
49.
62 watch, 11 responding to criminal trespass in the White Central beyond Harlem and Korea. Employee won't be.
I have to check that case. I just
49,
marked
40,
it.
go ahead.
Yeah, can I use that number for Millennium Park, please?
I'm sorry, for what?
Millennium Park.
It's 08348. 08348.
Thank you. 7389 Adam.
7389 Adam.
Hey, squad, just give me one for the turnstile at Jackson and the red.
08350. 08350.
7388 Adam.
7388.
Hey, can I get a event for upper and lower at Western Blue Line?
West or north or south?
Be south, squad.
This station is 08377. Your platform is 08378.
7383 Adam, boy.
83 Adam.
Squad 3 event number is 95th on the red line, please.
North is 08399. 08399. South is 08403. 08403.
10-4, thank you. 7389 David.
89 David.
Squad, let's get through this to Chicago and State on the red. Station platform, please.
Station 08412. 08412. The platform is 08414. 08414.
7383 Eddie and David.
83 Eddie and David.
Upper and lower, please, at the Roosevelt red line.
Station's 8418, 08418. The platform is 08420.
Yep.
7397 Charlie and boy. There were 20 units at once. 7397 Charlie, was that you coming in? Was there a 7397 Charlie coming in?
7397 Adam was coming in.
Okay, go ahead.
Leaving inside, going back to 1 with 946 on the mile.
1601 on the clock. There was a female officer coming in?
That number for 7386 Boy and Charlie, Clark and Lake, upper and lower.
Upper 08432, lower 08435.
4734.
4730.
4734, good afternoon, K9 Citywide.
Good afternoon.
7341.
7341.
Squad 2 event numbers, upper and lower, Howard red line.
Station 08444, 08444. The platform 08445, 08445.
7397 Adam, landed in 1947 on the mount.
1606 on the clock.
7392 Charlie.
92 Charlie.
Bus check, bus 4357, headed southbound from Pearson to Randolph.
On what street?
Michigan.
That's 08492. 08492. Who's coming in? All I'm catching is the David. 738. Who David?
386 David. Let me get through the numbers. Chicago red line, please.
is 08501 and your platform is 08502. 1462.
I need to order a K9 for my Houston.
Over 500?
Negative 142, but the amount of cannabis that was recovered was 139 grams.
K9, do we go out for that?
47 grams. Well, it's got to be over 500.
It has to be over $500, so negative, we won't be coming out 1462, boy.
10-4, thank you.
Thank you. Good luck. Are you David unit coming in?
739, 7 David.
97 David.
What's up, Nicholas? Nick?
Street stop where?
Roosevelt.
Roosevelt red light? Okay, your radio is not coming in clearly. Roosevelt red light? 0845.
392, boy.
92.
Lunch, Taylor, Nita.
08547. 7304 staff.
Also on a quick car wash at 80th and Michigan.
08550.
89, boy.
73 who?
89, boy.
Adam.
73, 86, 80.
86 Edward?
Yes, boy, can we?
3240.
7387, Adam. $73.80 Charlie.
You got
Sorry, squad, 7386 Charlie.
79 short.
Yeah, going south, 39 Oak Tree, phone number 1292.
08812. If you could let me know you're doing a bus check first, because there's so many units doing all different kinds of things, it would help me out.
Can I get that number one more time?
08812.
7392 Charlie.
92 Charlie.
Bus 6, bus 1347 from Fairbank in Michigan to Roosevelt in Michigan.
10-4, thank you. It's 08824. 08824.
Unit of orders home progress at 4344 in North Dakota said the owners are bothering him. Nothing further is okay.
7383, David and Eddie.
David and Eddie.
Retrieve numbers, red line, red ball.
Station is 08882. 08882. Platform 08884. 08884.
10-4.
Boy.
92.
Need a bed number for bus route Roosevelt going westbound.
7383, David and Eddie.
David and Eddie.
Retrieve numbers, red line, red ball.
Station is 08882. 08882. Platform 08884. 08884.
10-4.
7392, boy.
92.
Indiana driver, right? Driving fast in downtown. That's what he's doing, right? get, right? Some dude from Indiana doing Ubering or Uber Eats, right? Driving super fast, right? That's what you got.
Seven 388 Adam.
7388.
Can I get a advance for upper and lower at Western Blue Line?
Western, north, or south?
Be south, but
The station is 08377. Your platform is 08378.
7383 Adam boy.
83 Adam boy.
2 event numbers 95th and the red line, please.
North is 08399, 08399. South is 08403, 08403.
10-4, thank you. 7389 David.
89 David.
Squad of Cruiser, Chicago and State. On the red. Station platform, please.
Station 08412, 08412. The platform is 08414, 08414.
7383 Eddie and David.
83 Eddie and David.
Upper and lower, please, at the Roosevelt red line.
Station is 8418, 08418. The platform is 08420.
7397
Charlie and Boy. There were 2 units at once. 7397 Charlie, was that you coming in? Was there a 7397 Charlie coming in?
7397 Adam was coming in.
Okay, go ahead.
Leaving inside, going back to 1 with 946 to the mile.
1601 on the clock. There was a female officer coming in?
That number was 7336 Boy and Charlie, Clark and Lake, upper and lower.
Upper is 08432, lower is 08435.
4734.
4730.
4734, good afternoon, K9 Citywide.
Good afternoon.
7341.
7341.
Somebody's sleeping right there next to that tree over there. There's people sleeping all over in downtown, by the way. Most of them are African Americans. Most people sleeping in downtown are African Americans. In the lower levels, there's some Hispanics and whites. There used to be a lot of migrants sleeping out too here. I don't see any anymore.
92 Charlie.
Bus check, bus 4357, headed southbound from Pearson to Randolph.
On what street?
Michigan.
That's 08492. 08492. Who's coming in? All I'm catching is the David. 738 who, David?
386 David, let me get through the numbers. Chicago red line, please.
Station 08501 and your platform is 08502.
1462 Bland, Citywide 1.
1462.
Hey, Squad, I need to order a K9 for a money spin.
Over 500?
Negative, it's 142, but the amount of cannabis that was recovered was 139 grams.
K9, do we go out for this?
47,000. Squad, it's gotta be over 500.
It has to be over $500, so negative, we won't be coming out 1462, boy.
10-4, thank you.
Thank you. Good luck. Hi, David, you coming in?
7397 David.
97 did.
Street stop, red line out.
Street stop where?
Roosevelt.
Roosevelt Red Line? Okay, your radio is not coming in clearly. Roosevelt Red Line? 0845.
7392 boy.
92.
Lunch, Taylor and Ada.
08547.
7304 Sam.
7304 Sam.
Hold on a quick car wash at 80th and Vincent.
We heard that already, right?
08550.
Boy.
It's 5:24. You see, there ain't nobody here, right?
89 boy.
0 people. First day of the work day, week, month, year. First Monday of the year, work. It's empty, man. It's the first work day of the year. It's empty. There you go. Motorcycles. Oh, man, there you go. See the motorcycles there? They're doing whatever they want. You guys just seen that, right?
It's 08605.
7386 baby.
86
Yes, sir. Can we get a couple of event numbers upper and lower at the Howard Red Line?
A bunch of motorcycles, dirt bike just passed us by here on Wacker and Washington going towards the lake. Looks like they're gonna go wreak some havoc.
Station 08609, 08609, your platform 08610, 08610.
7397 David.
7397.
7397 David. Can I get a number for a street stop at Roosevelt Red?
08621, 08621.
7397.
739.
Can you have 97 David call me when they're clear from their stop?
7397 David from us.
97 David, are you calling us?
When you're clear, call the sergeant, please.
Stop 4.
Is in Niger Cityway. I think that's F progress 4100 Emerald. North for Southern operator says 3 mass offenders steal the merchandise from one of the train cars. No further info on 1359 Station.
Which one is that?
3214.
I'm going to get that call, right?
Could you check out this vehicle, northbound lanes around 900 north for a gray SUV that stopped. It's not moving to the far right lane. See if it's on in our outer drive.
7387 Adam Boy.
7387 Adam Boy.
Yes, Flash, we have 2 event numbers, O'Hare Blue Line, upper and lower.
Station 08689, 08689, the platform 08693.
7397 David.
7397.
7397 David. Can I get a number for a street stop at Roosevelt Red?
08621, 08621.
7397. 97 David, are you calling us?
When you're 3214. Could you check out this vehicle, northbound lanes around 900 north.
7387 Adam Boy.
7387 Adam Boy.
Yes, Flash, we have 2 event numbers, O'Hare Blue Line, upper and lower. 7382 Charlie.
83 Charlie.
Yes, sir. Can I get 2 event numbers, upper and lower, 789 to the red?
Station 0. 3214, you could code it. They said a tow truck took the vehicle off the drive.
I'm looking for the robbing the trains. You guys remember what address that was?
From the agent.
Clark, I have two events for upper and lower blue line, Clark and sorry, squad 7386 Charlie. 7387 David. Can you repeat that, please?
7392 Adam. 792.
Yeah, going south 39 OP, phone number 1292. Can I get that number one more time?
08812.
7392 Charlie.
90.
Unit of Order Solid Progress at Zip 4344 and also the caller said the owners are bothering him. Nothing further is okay.
Yeah, we already heard that one. The owners, right?
7383 is David and Eddie.
David and Eddie.
7392 boy.
92.
Need an event number for 7387 Charlie.
87.
Tell you that platform, Jefferson Park Blue, and L ride from Jeff Park Logan Square.
The L track is 08958, and the ride is going to give you
7397 Charlie.
7397.
7397 Charlie. Can I get two numbers for you for Clark Lake Blue and Clark Lake Gray?
Blue is 09035. Green is 7392.
Yes, we ride the bus 79 and Paulina going eastbound bus 799. 7386 Boy and Charlie.
Station is 09055. 09. Is there anybody nearby 220 South Wells got a caller requesting an ambulance for unresponsive male aboard the CTA rail car 2688 on the orange line at 220 South Wells?
7304 Charlie.
7304 Charlie.
Get two events for 90.
Overdose on the orange line on 220 South Wells.
Upper lower.
7304 Charlie, you're not a good number. What?
7304 Sam, sorry.
North is 09062, 09062, south is 09065.
746. 3215.
3250.
Yeah, show me heading into the annex on E-Lane.
Our council time is 1703 on the 5th of January 2026. Chicago Police Department point radio is clear.
That train robbery was around where the guy was asking for the money sniff. So I have to look around when I can sit at a regular computer. I got the recording too on the live feed. Because they just busted a bunch of guys for stealing from the train the other day.
86 David.
7386 David. 7386 David.
Event number Chicago in red, please.
09082 for the station, and the platform is 09084.
7388 Adam.
7388.
Can I get two event numbers for upper and lower at Kedzie?
Kedzie, what?
Kedzie home in Blue Lane, sorry.
Station is 09092, 09092, the platform 09093.
386 Adam.
7386 Adam.
Upper and lower Jackson Red Line.
Station is 09108, 09108, platform is 09109.
73737, Adam and Boy. 7387, Adam. Okay, 2 event numbers, upper lower Harlem Blue Line.
Station 09128, 09128, the platform 09131. 09131.
7373.
737.
Let me get 2 numbers for 69 red line.
Station 0, oh boy. Hold on. Alright, so station 09138, 09138, your platform 09140.
Eddie. Event numbers upper and lower at the Howard Red Line.
Is that number for Roosevelt Bus heading westbound from Pulaski? 0917.
He right there, Balboa, let me start following. I got one car now.
We're gonna go check out the Marshall Field Gardens apartments. There's supposed to be some activity out here. Sedgwick, there we're going, right? Let's see what's going on in these parts over here.
Street stop, Clark Lake Blue.
Alright,
7383 Charlie. 2 numbers coming out of the red line station on platform, please.
Let me clean up my camera here real quick.
3979. 2 numbers, Jackson Blue Red, please.
Good evening, car. Can you log on 7511 and to log on?
There we go. That's better, ain't it?
Yeah, it's great.
Hey, we're getting the number for suspect.
Let's go see what they're doing over here on Black Hawk, right?
7392 what? Event number for Roosevelt Bus from Cicero.
09347.
Street and remove vehicle off the drive, traffic clear. That's the man.
It's pretty quiet out. There don't look like too many people are out today. Pretty quiet out here. Black Hawk and Cedric tonight looks alright. Looks a little quiet. They might be sitting in their cars, whatever, but it looks quiet today. 5:38 p.m. January 5th, 2026. We're going to show you something. I'm going to go out somewhere. I had to go this way because I can't go on Chicago Avenue. I'm going to go out and show you something, and I'm going to go back to my junk. We're going to call it a day at about 6, I think. That's a couple of hours we already been on the air. We started at 4 today. Train, they were robbing the trains, but I don't know what time. I don't know where. They either robbed the trains in the Pilsen Little Village area over there on 26th, or they rob them. There's 2 locations on the south side. Well, there's one on they robbed the trains on 26th Street over there right before you get to Cicero. They rob them over there on is that over by Cicero over there? Yeah, on Cicero and Lake. Or they rob them down by 55th and the viaducts down in there, and sometimes by 83rd Street. By Burnham over there, too.
Is it 95th in there, man? Okay.
What? Use that number for Roosevelt bus at eastbound Central.
This is 094.
No traffic. 5:40 p.m. There's no traffic here on North Avenue. Usually this is packed here. We'll see if it's packed up here by Clybourne. It's Clybourne and North. It's all packed usually over here, and there ain't nobody up here. You see, it's getting a little more trafficy up here. Because it gets to a single lane up there. On that bridge. I think that's a single lane on that bridge. I don't remember anymore. This used to be always traffic jams here. You couldn't drive like this at 5:40. Clybourne Corridor, Goose Island. Oh, this was the hot neighborhoods at one time. As you see, it's pretty empty right now.
73, 92 Adam.
92 Adam.
I just want to confirm, you said 95th and Narragansett? I mean, not Narragansett. 95th and Merrimack?
Yeah, 95th and Merrimack.
Okay.
So we're caught up on the radio calls. The only big, you see, that's all empty. All those stores are empty. They were empty before Christmas and after Christmas. You see that there? You think those stores are going to get filled up after Christmas? I don't think so. There you go, North Avenue, 5:43 p.m., January 5th, 2026. You got that whole block empty here, man. It ain't gonna be nothing over here, man. If they didn't have stores there in the wintertime for Christmas, they ain't gonna have none. And they ain't filling those stores up, man. And this used to be an intersection here. It would take you almost a half hour just to get through this intersection, meaning just to get through it. And it's not that bad. It's starting to get filled up over there because it gets to be a single lane over there, I believe. And you got the highway in and out, and the people are getting off the highway going into Wicker Park and Bucktown. But yeah, it's empty around here, man. This was once the hot neighborhood over here, Clybourne Corridor. It ain't no more. There you go, North Avenue, 5:43 p.m., January 5th, 2026. You got that whole... That's my recording. Sorry about that. But you see, there ain't nobody here. I mean, it's starting to get trafficy over here. See that there? Because now you got the highway traffic. We're getting blocked in. So now it's getting a little trafficy over here. But this used to be all backed up here, man. And you couldn't get through this intersection here. Clybourne Corridor area, man. It's unhappening. They ain't got no businesses over here anymore. 5:40 p.m., January 5th, 2026. Corridor.
Other driver or other motorist has been driving, because the intoxicated driver is kind of
There you go, North Avenue, 5:43 p.m. The Migrants used to be down the road here on Elston. I mean, now that I think about it with those migrants, I mean, they were doing a lot of stealing and crime, but they were also spending money, those checks that they were getting from the government. So, I don't know, man. I haven't figured that migrant thing out yet. There was something going on with that migrant that we don't know about yet. I got to work on that project. I might have to dig up some of those guys and see what really was going on with them. There you go, North Avenue, 5:43 p.m. I'm sorry, my radio keeps doing this. My phone is really, man, it keeps hopping back and forth right now. My phone is hopping back and forth. There we go. There you go, there's another store empty there. See that there? And there's a weed shop right next to it. So the weed shop didn't fix that place. Exit Lounge is closed. That was open for many years. That's closed. Stanley's is gone. The diner is now open here. Arts? That finally opened up after many, many years. Well, the reason it's open is because of the salt shed down the street, right? So, but Stanley's Fruit Market is gone, and that was there. That's been since I've been a kid. Supposed to be some bad weather coming in. Hey, now we're getting into some traffic over here, but it's coming off the highway, that's why. Is there everybody coming in, I don't know, from downtown? I don't know, why would you be driving from downtown here? That don't make no sense, right? Where are these people coming from? I never figured these guys out. These are like the bicyclists and everything. Why would they be driving downtown? It doesn't make no sense to me. You kind of get it? So we're going into, right now we're going into Bucktown, right? The Bucktown's right here. South of here is Wicker Park. Logan Square is straight of here. So it doesn't make sense here. Why is all this traffic here? These guys are supposed to be the bicyclists, environmentalists, blah, 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 blah. Why are they driving all these cars here? It doesn't make sense, right? I never figure that one out when I come around here. What's going on here? These are the guys that say we need bike lanes and everything. Yet they're the ones that do the most driving in the shortest distances. You know what I mean? It's kind of weird. It's kind of like those protesters. No kings, but yeah, we support a dictator that didn't win an election. I mean, so not say this about Maduro. Maybe those drug charges are fake or whatever they are. Let's throw those out. But he did lose the last election. He stayed in power. So he's a dictator. So imagine the people who protest no kings now are saying, yeah, we support a dictator. Kind of weird, right? And then think about this. The opposition person that won the election, or her party that won the Nobel Prize. People say, oh, it's a setup. How? The Nobel Prize don't like Trump, so why would they're not gonna, the Nobel people are not gonna coordinate anything with Trump. That's silly. Somebody even said it's rigged up with the Nobel Prize. Like, what? The Nobel people don't hook up with Trump. They're opposites. Nobel people are alt left. Everybody knows that, right? I mean, they're alt left, but right left. You know, there's right left, there's left right, there's center lefts, there's all of that. Everybody knows that's how politics goes across the world, right? You can be right left. That means you're a conservative leftist, right? You can be left of left, right? Ultra left. Those are close to anarchy, right? Anarchists, right? Then you can be left of right. Those are anarchists too, on the right side. Everybody knows there's anarchists on both sides, right? That want to destroy the governments, right? People know that, right? The left say we want to destroy the government because it's bad, it's corrosive, right? It tries to control people. The right anarchists say we don't need government to run us. Those come out of the Austrian school, right? Austrian School of Economics. Total free markets, right? Which doesn't exist anywhere. A total free market would have no money, right? Or no gold. It would be a barter system. A total free market would be a barter system, which can't work in a large society of millions of people in cities. See, a lot of this stuff was written at the height of, a lot of the economic stuff was written at the height of the Industrial Revolution, where you didn't have these mega cities yet. Now we have mega cities, right? And we have globalization, that kind of stuff. So, you know, a lot of that stuff that's been written over 100 years ago doesn't exist. Then you had Hayek and you had Friedman that wrote their stuff in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. That was now at the height of what? The American imperialism. And then starting to go into that Asian kind of, I don't know what that relationship is between us and Asia, right? People can say who controls who. I mean, if it wasn't for us, where would China be, right? I mean, think about it. If we didn't buy Chinese goods, where would they be? They're kind of relying on us, right? I mean, are they going to sell Chinese stuff in China? Most likely not, right? They have to have a market for it, right? So it's symbiotic right there. So it's kind of interesting that we don't have a modern day economics, political kind of philosophy, because it's kind of different right now. So, well, I'm starting to talk a lot again. All right, so I'm going to a place. I'm gonna show you guys something, and then that'll be about it. Right, we're in a little bit of traffic here. We're at North Avenue, Milwaukee, and Damon. Right, this was the hot spot. So look, think about it. We had a hot spot at Claiborne, and we had a hot spot over here. None of these hot spots are hot anymore, but they used to be hot all the time. And it was mutually exclusive. Now we have just everybody keeps saying West Loop, West Loop, West Loop, but I cover the West Loop a lot, and the West Loop ain't everything that you think it is. There you go. You got people ticketing people. I see the ticket lady right there. There's a ticket lady right there. Right there. She's walking right there giving out tickets. Right to the left of me, right? I mean, I don't know. Is that the... I got some... we're going to work on some reports this year. I'm waiting. I'm waiting till the dust settles, right? So that's what I'm waiting for. There's everybody knows I was doing the death certificates a few years ago. I got a really... People were talking smack about me, but now that office is actually under investigation for manipulating the death certificates and not giving them out on time to people. Everybody knows that? Have you heard that, right? No. That was 3 years ago we were doing that work. We were ahead of the game there. I think they didn't ever give me the data that I wanted, but I'll ask for it again. We'll see what's going on. I'm going to ask for how many death certificates were issued. We're going to go through a lot of data. I think I need to buy a new computer because my computer at home is right about to die. It makes noises and everything. It's about 6 or 7 years old maybe, so I need to get like a, I don't know what it is, the newer, whatever they call them, like octa-cores or whatever. It's got to have more whatever in it. And it happens. It's like your phone, it goes out. So my big computer at home, the one that I have all my storages in, I have to get. I mean, I have terabytes of data. I'll fill up. I think on that computer I have close to 50 terabytes of data. And I have some external. That's why I got external drives, but I think I have 50 terabytes running out of it now. That's why it's a little slow. So yeah, 50 terabytes. Out of a 6 or 7 year old computer, because what it does, it has to go through all the information when I'm looking for something in all the files. So that's why my computer's running a little bit slow. Yeah, that's about how much work I've done in about 5 years maybe. Yeah, 50 terabytes, 5 years. You can say that. 10 terabytes per year. I've gone through. I got terabyte jump drives too. I buy terabyte phone drives too. So I fill those up. My phone memories I fill up. It used to be once a month, but I've done it a little different now because I have 3 phones running, so it doesn't fill them up too much. So we're gonna listen to the 6 o'clock news, and I'm going to a place to show you guys something, right? We're gonna listen to the 6 o'clock news. And we might call it a night then. If something comes up, we'll go hit it, right? Some people say it's boring, nothing's happening, where's all the action? Like, yeah, I don't know. If there's no, look, if there's already been 2 murders this year already, so. Already been 2 murders. Everybody knows that, right? There's been 2 homicides this year. A bunch of people shot. I haven't done the count yet, but there's quite a bit of them already. So, and there's at least, I don't even know. I'm not going to say. I think there's a 20 shot already this year. I don't want to, I might be overstating it. Let's not say that. I'd say at least 10 shot, 2 dead. And then we're only in the, 5th day, right? So 2 per day. Right? 2 per day shot we're having on an average. So I don't know how crime is down. That's all I gotta say. No, they're paid. They're paid, Holly. They're paid protesters. Organizers are paid by unions, NGOs, and all that. They have funding for that. The NGOs is where you gotta start looking. The neighborhood groups, you got to check those bike group. The bike group down by my house in Brighton Park, the one that did the bike lanes, they're paid by the Joyce Foundation. That's $1 billion operation. What's a billionaire doing talking to bike lanes? Well, if they want your property, that's what they're doing, right? Well, 5:58, and it's some news, all right?
Always
live on the free Odyssey app.
5:58, time to check in on the roads. Neil Fiorito.
All right, Lisa, it's a rough ride today, starting on the Edens Expressway. Brake lights coming inbound from Tower Road to Lake Avenue. You have a crash blocking the left lane, and you have 27 minutes to drive to the Kennedy Junction from Lake Cook Road. Crash clear, thankfully, on the Eisenhower outbound right before Manheim. You're pretty jammed up from the Jane Byrne interchange. 35 to Manheim, 53 to the Jane Addams, 48 minutes to drive in from I-90 into downtown. Major delays continue on the Bishop Ford outbound from the Dan Ryan before 130th Street. Crash cleanup, an earlier semi, the two right lanes. The left lane is now getting by. That semi hit an overpass, lost a container. That container landed on the front of a garbage truck. Avoid it by using Torrance, Michigan Avenue, or I-57. Getting into the south suburbs, you want no part of the outbound Ford. 35 out, you are 23 minutes to drive inbound. That's it as far as the trouble spots go. Travel time on the Kennedy Expressway, 35 in. You're close to 30 minutes out to O'Hare. On the Stevenson inbound, you're good. Outbound heavy past Orion to Cicero, 31 to the Tri-State, 39 to 355. And a lot of traffic on the Dan Ryan going outbound from 51st to the Split because of all the activity on the outbound Ford. So your out on time on the Orion is 35 minutes. From the Metro Traffic Center, next report, 6:08, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
All right, Neil, thank you. Some fog late tonight, maybe a bit of rain and drizzle, low of 36. Kind of the same tomorrow, overcast, damp, foggy, with some rain and drizzle, a high of 43. 46 Wednesday, 50s by Thursday. Right now, 39 degrees at 5:59.
60s! We're going to get flip-flops and T-shirts out. Might have to have a picnic. 60s by Thursday. That's great January weather.
Next half hour on News Radio WBBM.
600,000 people in Illinois could drop health insurance with the future of government help up in the air. I'm political editor Jeff Buckles in Bronzeville with the story of two people facing that reality.
A Chicago area congressman says he will introduce a bill to keep taxpayer dollars from funding a U.S. occupation of Venezuela. And deposed Venezuelan President Nicholas Maduro and his wife plead not guilty to narco-terrorism and drug trafficking charges in a federal courthouse in New York City.
I'm Tom Busby at Bloomberg. A new record high for the Dow today, which shot up 595 points. The Nasdaq up 160, the S&P up 44 on big gains in energy and tech stocks.
News on the hour, sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. Ousted Venezuelan President Nicholas Maduro has appeared in court in New York, where he and his wife have pleaded not guilty to federal drug trafficking and other charges. CBS's Cammie McCormick reports.
Outside the courthouse in New York, some Venezuelans celebrated.
I'm feeling very, very happy, very, very excited. I want to go back. This is my dream.
Inside, Maduro declared himself an innocent and decent man. The legal proceeding will likely kick off a protracted fight over whether he can be put on trial in the U.S.
He's obviously a flight risk. He's not making bail.
Both Maduro and his wife agreed to remain detained for now. Legal contributor Caroline Polisi.
If he gets convicted on all 4 counts, you're looking at 30, 40 years to life.
His next court appearance will be in March.
Sources tell CBS News that oil companies plan to meet with the Trump administration on Venezuela. CBS is at O'Keefe with more on that.
We know now that representatives of Exxon, Chevron, and ConocoPhillips are expected to meet at least with the Energy Secretary, Chris Wright, possibly as soon as Thursday, to discuss how exactly American energy firms might begin the process of tapping back into those Venezuelan reserves, however much may be down there.
And also, in an overhaul of childhood vaccines, the CDC drops the number it recommends for every child. WSB's Sabrina Cupid.
When it comes to recommendations for vaccination against RSV, meningococcal disease, hepatitis B, and hepatitis A, those are recommended for high-risk individuals. When it comes to flu, COVID-19, and rotavirus vaccinations, that'll be left up to parents and doctors to decide.
Dr. Jason Goldman is president of the American College of Physicians and is among those concerned about the changes.
I suspect this is going to have generational impact on the children and health of our country, because we are going to see a resurgence of diseases that we haven't had to deal with.
Minnesota Governor Tim Walz ends his re-election campaign. The two-term Democrat and former vice presidential candidate has faced scrutiny in the last several months over his handling of allegations of fraud in the state's social service programs.
We should be concerned about fraud in our state government. We cannot effectively deliver programs and services if we can't earn the public's trust.
A new study suggests schools' smartphone bans and restrictions may not be working. Jason Nagata is a professor of pediatrics at the University of California, San Francisco.
Our study shows that teens spend more than an hour on smartphones during the school day, mostly on social media and video, highlighting the need for evidence-based school phone policies.
Stocks closed up on Wall Street today. This is CBS.
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
What's up, Trina? What do you know? Happy New Year, young lady.
And they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000.
I don't want to say nothing, man. It's proven vaccines were used bad. I mean, it's proven. I mean, they were experimenting on African Americans, made people sterile with some vaccines. Don't you guys remember that stuff? So, vaccine history is bad, but we need to also realize vaccines help protect our country. And I think we're going to go backwards. I think we just had some polio and measles deaths or something like that recently. We've never had those in 40 or 50 years because of this anti-vax stuff. Yeah, I'm going to tell you this. My wife says, you know what it is? And she's a scientist. I keep telling you, my wife's a scientist. She goes, it's what they say. It's Darwinism. If you're that dumb, then, oh well. Then it's kind of like cleaning, right? You're cleaning out the system of people who ain't too smart. If you think you're not gonna do it, then okay, see you later. We're gonna end up over here. Listen to some more news.
Public TV and radio stations announced that its board of directors voted to close the organization after 58 years, rather than continue to exist and potentially be, quote, vulnerable to future political manipulation or misuse. Stacey Lynn, CBS News, the White House.
They make sense in your car, and now a startup in Canada wants to put airbags in your pants. They've created a prototype for pants that can detect when you fall and quickly inflate so seniors don't shatter a hip. They claim the pants can sense the difference between a fall and just plopping on the couch. They could cost as much as $1,500 and will not be machine washable. Jennifer Kuiper, CBS News.
Chicago's news, traffic, and weather station, News Radio 105.9 and WBBMNewsRadio.com.
6:05, Monday, the 5th day of January of the new year. Thanks for joining us. Tonight, I'm Lisa Fielding. We have cloudy skies, 37 degrees. East winds at 3 miles an hour, light winds. For tonight, could get some fog, rain, and drizzle. That's on tap for tomorrow, too. The AccuWeather 5-day forecast coming up in 10 minutes at 6:15. But first at 6, members of Congress are returning to Capitol Hill this week to consider whether to extend help for millions of people buying health insurance under the Affordable Care Act. WBBM political editor Jeff Buchholz talked with a husband and wife about how the cuts are affecting them.
My name's Doug Butchart, and this is my wife, Shadeen.
Doug Butchart says his wife was diagnosed with ALS in 2017.
The prognosis is 2 to 5 years. She's lived almost over 8 years since she was diagnosed.
And they've relied on insurance bought through the ACA marketplaces to help defray Shadeen's healthcare expenses. But those enhanced tax credits first approved during the COVID-19 pandemic have now expired. And their ACA premium went from $1,400 a month to $2,100. Now Congress is split on whether to extend those credits. Bouchard told reporters at Cook County Health's Bronzeville Community Health Center he and his wife are not sure what they'll do.
Not knowing the exact cost is very troubling.
Cook County leaders say their hospitals and clinics are stepping up outreach so that affected people know their options. We're in Bronzeville. Jeff Buchholz, News Radio 105.9, WBBM.
U.S. action in Venezuela is expected to dominate the conversation as well in the House and Senate. Northwest suburban Democrat Raja Krishnamurthy says he'll introduce a bill to block tax dollars from funding any U.S. occupation in the country. He says Venezuelan leader Nicholas Maduro is a bad guy who shouldn't be in power, but the Trump administration's operation leaves the U.S. open to a potential open-ended operation.
I absolutely support a war powers resolution to prevent the deployment of our armed forces in Venezuela. I hope that such a resolution will come before the House this week. I will be pushing for it.
However, Republicans in the state's congressional delegation have supported the administration, including Peoria's Darren LaHood, who posted on social media that Venezuela and the region are better off without the Maduro regime in power. A Lake County man facing felony theft charges after police say he stole several high-value sports cards.
It was during the grand opening of State Line Sports Cards in Third Lake. Prosecutors say 41-year-old Stephen Peregrine took collectible cards worth more than $4,000 and even returned later for additional items. The store released surveillance photos on social media helping identify the suspect. Authorities say Peregrine later admitted to the theft, returned the merchandise,
till the news is
turned
over.
himself in. He was released with pretrial
I'm gonna show you
conditions under
guys
Illinois'
something.
Safety Act and is due back in court later this month. Rachel Pearson, News Radio 1059 WBDM.
It is 6:08. Time to check in on the roads, traffic and weather together tonight.
All right, what's up? So I'm going to show you guys this something here, right? We're on... All right, what's up, everybody? It's about 6:08 p.m. We're going southbound on Sacramento, just south of Chicago Avenue. Take a look at this. This is a sidewalk here. There's actually a school right down the street here. Got that? So take a look at how this looks here. It's horrible, man. Right, there you go, right? All right, see that there? That's unbelievable. That you can't walk on the sidewalk. The sidewalk's completely blocked there. It's completely blocked. There's schools right down the street here. There's buildings here, and there's everything. No one does nothing about it. I believe this is part of Logan Square, maybe. And you see, nothing happens. Now we're gonna show you. We'll show you across the street here. So you seen that, right? That's real bad there, right? There's tents right here. See the tents right there? There's tents all over here. I mean, I guess there ain't nobody too much here, but there's a school right there. There's kids that go right there, and there's a shooting here. They shot a kid over here. It's a school over there. They covered a shooting there. I don't know when it was, a year or two ago. A student got shot. And we'll talk about that stuff, right? So here you go. Now you got the other side of the street. Now we're going northbound on Sacramento. Right? You got tents right there. You got a bunch of tents right there. You got people walking all around here, man. So this is Sacramento. You seen how bad it was over there? You can't walk on that sidewalk there. That's the west side of Sacramento, right? Then you got tents over here. You got people walking all around here. See that there? You got tents in the middle there. See the tents right there? And then you got a whole bunch of tents over here, right? Let's see them over here on this side. You see a whole bunch of tents over here. See that there? There you go. A little cleaner on this side, but the other side is horrible. So there you go. And it's what, January already? How come the city hasn't done anything about it? Because they don't care. That's the point. It's sad, right? There you go, Chicago and Sacramento. It's pretty. There's guys in the middle of the street here too. It's pretty bad over here by Sacramento. 6:08 p.m. January 5th, 2026. You've seen that, right, Trina?
3 people this morning on Chicago's west side. Police say the man walked up to 2 men and a woman standing near 15th and Home and opened fire. One of the men was hit in the neck. He is in critical condition. Detectives say the shooter got into a gray sedan and drove north, but as of this hour, no arrests have been made. Tickets go on sale tomorrow for popular arts events in the city.
Chicago Theater Week is an annual promotion of local theater presented by the nonprofit League of Chicago Theaters, where theater goers can attend shows at discounted ticket prices. Tickets of $30 or less will be available for roughly 75 shows at 57 theaters in the city and suburbs. This includes productions such as Hamnet at the Chicago Shakespeare Theater, Eureka Day at the Broadway Playhouse, and various concerts and programs. Chicago Theater Week takes place between February 5th and February 15th. Carolina Garibay, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
I'm Kiara Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website.
That was horrible. It's inhumane to allow a person to live like that. And then they had this guy in California, that child actor. You've seen that story, right? And there's even people who helped him. It was like there was his former friend from the show paid for him to have a spot, right? He tore up the whole hotel. They called the guy who paid for the room. They said, "Hey, he just tore up our stuff." And then someone is talking about, oh, they don't have a choice and you can't violate their rights. Wait up. If you're destroying property, if you're destroying a sidewalk, you can't do that. That's destruction of public property, right? And sometimes it's private property, like in the case in LA. And then people don't press charges. You know what I mean? That's how we get into this mess. And you can say, well, yeah, you shouldn't be nice. Don't put them in prison. Well, not everything leads to prison, right? And especially in Illinois, we got the Safety Act, right? So the point I'm trying to make here is there's no accountability. If someone is living that way on the street out here in Sacramento, we have to do something about it. First of all, that's all of our sidewalk. Right now, no one can walk on it. No one can walk on it. It's blocked. So we're being disenfranchised from our right to walk on that sidewalk. Maybe I'm gonna take my video and I'm gonna walk and say I want to walk through here, and the guy says no. Then I say you need to move your stuff, and I'll call 911 and say I want to pass through here, and you need to move them, physically move them, right? And it's your job as the police officer to make sure the public way is clear. You kind of get where I'm going with this. And if the police aren't doing it, then we need to force the police to do their jobs, because the police aren't doing their jobs. That's the problem here, right? They need to figure this out. And if they want to play the games of, oh, it's the mayor's fault, Safety Act, because you know that's what the police been doing lately. They've been blaming all kinds of stuff on their thing, right? Oh, it's this, oh, it's that, oh, it's, well, you need to go do your job, man. That you clear that sidewalk out. You clear it out. That has nothing to do with me. I don't want to hear that excuse from a cop. You know what I mean? When a cop starts giving you excuses, then you start to wonder, well, why are you a cop, right? Isn't that your job? Isn't it your job to make sure the public way, spaces, transportation, the CTA, parks, schools, right? That those are safe for everybody, that we don't have to worry about it. And I shouldn't be getting into a confrontation with a person. If I want to walk on that sidewalk for whatever reason it is, I don't care. It doesn't matter. Yeah, I should be able to walk on the sidewalk. I shouldn't have to talk to the guy to tell him to move his stuff off a sidewalk. What's that about? You kind of get what I mean? Do you see the liberalism that's destroyed our city and our country? They say I don't have a right to walk there. And if I confront that man, then I'm being aggressive. Well, how am I being aggressive when that's a sidewalk? Right? It's a public sidewalk and it's blocked right now. Everybody's seen it, right? I don't know. It's kind of messed up there, right? I mean, maybe we'll go down. You want to go down Lake Street? I got a few more minutes. I mean, I got 3 hours on my tape, right? I can go down Lake Street if you guys want. We'll keep riding. How about we go down Lake Street? We'll see what's going on with Lake Street. We're on Western right now. Everybody knows that? We're on Western. We're gonna go west on Lake. We're traveling around. We'll go see what's going on, right? Now, I wanted to gotta show you that Chicago Avenue stuff. That's horrendous, and it's right there. And it's right there. I mean, you can't miss it. And you know that's the city pound. The funniest thing about that is the city tow yard is right there. That's the city tow. If you get towed around this area, that's where your car ends up, right in that area. That's the wildest thing about it. You got hundreds of city workers and trucks that go past by there every day. We pay, you know how many thousands of dollars go through that tow yard every day? Think about it. And right there, there's the people are living right there, right on the street, with no. So I don't even know how to express myself right now. I'm not angry. I'm not going to swear, but I don't know what it would be called. They make maybe $10,000 to $20,000 a day, maybe more. Who knows? Maybe I'm exaggerating. Let's say they make at least $10,000 a day at that tow lot. I can FOIA the records. So the city makes, say, $10,000 a day from that tow yard. I bet you they make more though. But let's say $10,000 every day, every single day. So the taxes is supposed to pay for stuff, right? It's supposed to pay for housing. It doesn't pay for schools, right? That's something separate. But it pays for stuff, right? You tow cars, they're illegal, and then you're supposed to put that in the piggy bank of the city and do it. But yet, not even one block from the tow yard where they're making $10,000 a day, they have a bunch of homeless people. That doesn't even make sense. So why are you towing cars? Oh man, my phone just fell again. Oh man. Alright. My phone keeps falling. I have this other phone here, and I gotta turn it off now. I don't know why it keeps falling today. Alright, we'll turn that off. So, think about that. I don't even know what that's called. If it's corruption, if it's called malfeasance, and I think someone said it, Trina, you just said it, inhumanity. So you have a place that's generating $10,000 a day, right? They're paying for those tow truck drivers. You already got that cost done. All right, man, I don't know what's going on with this other phone. I'm having trouble with it. Whatever. It's not responding. But yet, you have all the homeless people all around there. That don't make no sense. What is that? What kind of inhumane behavior is that, right? What kind of a human being does that? That they collect so much money from the taxpayers. This is extra money. This ain't the regular taxpayer money, right? This is extra tax, right? You're towing these cars, right? And then you have all this debauchery there, man. It's weird. Why don't they set up a trailer for these guys to live in? If you have all these people there and you have the movement there, right, of the city, why don't you get these guys working? Why don't you keep them busy or do something with them, right? Do something with the resources of that $10,000 a day. Don't you have that much empathy for? That's what I keep. See, people think I'm against homelessness. First of all, I was homeless before. I've been homeless. Okay? So, you saying I don't have empathy for the homeless is kind of ridiculous because I was homeless. That's stupid. When somebody says that, somebody just said that I'm starting to post on YouTube. Somebody said, oh, I'm not sensitive and I'm supposed to help people, which I do. That's the first thing they do, they put virtue signaling on you, right? First thing they say, it's my fault that they're homeless. And it's my responsibility to fix the homeless issue. When I'm driving around and I'm spending my resources reporting on it, right? This isn't free. Gas ain't free. The internet ain't free. My phones ain't free. My time ain't free. I guess that's, right? Is my time supposed to be free? Am I a slave? Absolutely not. I'm not a slave. So you come on my pages, wherever I'm at, and you tell me it's my fault that I should be fixing it when there's a commissioner of homelessness, there's a housing commissioner, there's a family and support services commissioner, and there's probably a third. There's 4 commissioners in downtown City Hall. There's a deputy mayor of homelessness that was created by Brandon Johnson. There's a department that was created by Brandon Johnson. The first day he came in office, he did what Trump did. He created 4 executive positions outside of City Council's approval. You're talking about kings. Does everybody know that? The first day in office, he did that? He made 4 deputy positions that are redundant. They already have commissioners doing that work. Those were the spies. And specifically in the job title, he says, you must work with them. You must work with this guy. He put him above all of these departments, and all the departments must work with them. They're spies. They're the Spitzen. You know what Spitzen is? Stasi, right? Everybody knows what Stasi is from East Germany? And they spy on each other, right? Chinese people, they spy on each other, right? The communists spy on each other. So let's get back to this. You have all these people that are paid. You got an organization that's making $10,000 a day towing cars. Yet across the street from it, you got that debauchery there, right? And we videotape it, and then I'm blamed for it and say it's my fault and I should fix it. That's where we're at. We're at Venezuela times. In Chicago, we have a Maduro. Brandon Johnson's Maduro. That's why he says I stick up for him. Yeah, how do you stick up for a guy that's criminally indicted? Well, I guess he does, right? Didn't he hook up with, what's his name? King Von or one of those guys? What's the other guy? Doesn't he have pictures with that guy? That one guy, right? That's now going in trafficking and murder case, right? I forget what the guy from O Block, right? The guy that got indicted. What's his name? I don't know all those rappers' name. Whatever. I hope if he's innocent, he's innocent, right? So we're over here on Pulaski. There's a guy right there, zombieing out right there, right in front of you, right? Right by the... Right there. Don't you see that guy right there? The fuck, man? Where you going, dude? Go on. Right. Fucking beeping their horns at me, man, right? I'm tired of that stuff. Sorry about the swearing. Where are you going? There you go. There's a whole bunch of guys right there. See that there? There's regular people walking here too. They got to go through this drug crap, right? So the idea is that I can't verbalize what I just seen. I know it's bad, but when I videotape it and post it, people say it's my fault that's there. And that when I videotape it, I actually make it worse. I had that happen to me 20 years ago when I worked at Hyde Park Career Academy. When my students were getting ripped off, robbed, stabbed, beat up, some were getting shot, teachers' cars were getting broken into. There was rapes around that school, 63rd and Stony Island. And I would get the crime stats. 20 years ago I was doing this stuff. 20 in 2004. I could pull out all my old records. They would say I'm making the school look bad. They did the same thing to me. It's the same. I don't even know what that means. when you say the guy that posts the statistics of the crime, or the guy that videotapes the crime, right? That's a crime. When you see a guy there blocking the sidewalk, that's a criminal offense. That's crime. He's taking over a sidewalk. That's a crime. If you did that with your house, you'd be given a ticket, right? If you garbage around your house, if you block the sidewalk, or if you don't shovel your sidewalk, or if you do something with your garage, you get a ticket, right? Civil. It might be a civil thing. It might not be a criminal thing, but whatever. Breaks the law. Civil or criminal, it's still breaking the law. But, so the guy that videotapes it and reports on it, or posts it, is the guy that's the one that's responsible. And I had that same thing. It's the same exact behavior that I got in the response from 20 years ago. And I can't believe that 20 years of whatever I've lived in the city, that I would get the same reaction from the public. Where we're talking about AI, we're talking about the moon, we're talking about Mars, we're talking about all those things, and we still got that. All right, this is 6:30 News. It's up. 6:30 News.
23 minutes in from out here at the Jane Byrne, so not bad. Outbound, it's just 9 minutes to Montrose, but you're heavy central to Harlem, so it's 22 minutes to O'Hare. Eisenhower 34 in from the Jane Addams to the Jane Byrne, 16 from Mannheim. Outbound, it's 34 minutes as well. The Stevenson inbound looking good. Outbound, 26 minutes to the Tri-State, 34 to I-355. Dan Ryan inbound's fine, heavy though. Outbound, you're heavy. The Jane Byrne to before 18th, and then solid from Garfield to the Split. It's 30 minutes out to the Bishop Fort. I-57, no problems for you. DeSamba Lakeshore Drive, you're just heavy approaching Chicago Avenue. The Tri-State, the Jane Addams, the Reagan, all looking pretty good for you. 8094 eastbound, you're heavy from Torrance to the state line. We've got a crash in a lane there. From the Metro Traffic Center, your next traffic at 638 on News Radio 1059 WBBM.
Lisa, thank you. Right now we've got cloudy skies, 37 at 629.
This is Rob Hart, host of the Noon Business Hour, and we're officially in the dead of winter. The last thing you want to do is stand outside at the gas station in the January cold, especially when you can charge your all-electric Chevy Equinox EV in your driveway or garage while you remain warm and toasty in your home. Beat the winter blahs in your Chevy Equinox EV. Go to ChevyDriveChicago.com to find your local dealer and the latest incentives, and be sure to ask about the heated seats and steering wheel.
Chicago's news, traffic, and weather.
This is the spot they steal from the trains here on the west side. Kilpatrick, they jump on the tracks over here. So this is where they steal from the trains on the west side.
Good evening, I'm Lisa Fielding. Thanks for joining us. Here are the top stories on News Radio WBBM.
I'm Brandon Eisen. An 82-year-old man has now been charged with first-degree murder in a nearly 40-year-old cold case out of Will County.
Chicago's branch of the Federal Drug Enforcement Agency has a new top agent. Plus,
this is Andy Dane.
The consequences of these kinds of actions, the track record for them is very poor.
A state history expert reacts to the weekend's events in Venezuela.
Plus, the CDC rolls out new vaccine guidelines for the nation's children. In sports, Bulls on the road to take on the Celtics. In business, a rally on Wall Street to begin the first trading week of the year. The Dow up 600, S&P up 44, and the Nasdaq ahead 160. Could be a damp one tonight, some fog and rain and drizzle, a low of 36, kind of the same into tomorrow, with a high of 43. We've got cloudy skies, 37 degrees at 6:31. A 37-year-old cold case out of Will County may have been cracked. WBBM's Brandon Nyson reports an 82-year-old man from Michigan charged with murdering his wife.
An eyewitness claims that on December 9th, 1988, an argument between husband and wife, Joan and Gilbert Bernal Sr., ended with the husband becoming violent and dragging Joan to the back of the home they shared in Joliet at the time. This was the last time anyone would see Joan. Gilbert Bernal had reported her missing later that month, telling police that he had left her at a bus stop in Oklahoma. Joan Bernal's body has never been found, but reopened leads led to Gilbert's indictment 37 years to the day she disappeared. He has been living in Flint, Michigan, and was taken into custody by a U.S. Marshals task force and quickly extradited back to Will County, where his next court appearance is scheduled for next Monday. Brandon Eisen, News Radio 1059 WBBM.
DEA DEA, the Chicago division, welcoming a new top agent.
Todd C. Smith has been appointed the new special agent in charge of the DEA Chicago division, becoming the highest-ranking DEA agent throughout Illinois, Indiana, and Wisconsin. He replaces Shane R. Catone, who was appointed as the associate chief of operations for the DEA Midwest region. A 21-year veteran of the DEA, Smith has extensive drug trafficking investigative experience and has conducted international drug and money laundering conspiracies investigations targeting Mexican cartels. He received a bachelor's degree in criminal justice from Michigan State University. Carolina Garibay, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
We're hearing more stories about how the apparent end of government health insurance assistance is affecting people facing increases in their premiums. Retired auto mechanic Doug Bochart says his wife Shadeen has depended on insurance bought through the ACA to help pay for her ALS care. But the enhanced tax credits that helped lower those costs expired last week, and Bochart told reporters that their premiums went from $1,400 a month to $2,100.
We have to have insurance. We can't afford not to have insurance. So, and not knowing the exact cost is very troubling.
Members of Congress are headed back to Capitol Hill this week, and a vote is expected on extending those tax credits. Congressmen will be asked to sign on to a measure from a suburban Chicago lawmaker designed to curb the U.S. operation in Venezuela this week. The plan is one response to the Trump administration's decision to capture the country's leader over the weekend.
Maduro is a bad guy who should not be in charge of Venezuela.
But Democrat Raja Krishnamurthy says the administration's decision to capture him and bring him to New York leaves the U.S. open to an extended military deployment in that country, similar to operations in Iraq and Afghanistan.
I have not yet met a single person who wants any part of that.
Krishnamurthy, who's one of 10 Democrats running for U.S. Senate, says he'll introduce a bill this week barring the use of federal tax dollars for any occupation in Venezuela. By contrast, Peoria area Republican Darren LaHood praised the operation on social media, saying in part that Maduro is flooding the U.S. with illegal drugs, and now he'll be held accountable for what LaHood calls his destruction. LaHood has not responded to our request for an interview. Jeff Buckles, News Radio 105.9. WBBM.
And an Illinois expert on history weighing in says this weekend's capture of Nicholas Maduro will not only reshape Latin America, but the U.S. as well.
Has been less driven by this kind of blunt military intervention.
Jerry Davila is a professor of history at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign.
Particularly because those kinds of interventions typically have disastrous consequences for the people in the countries affected. They're destabilizing. They deepen political polarization. They create uncertainty and instability.
Davila says there is no shortage of uncertainty moving forward, both in how Venezuela will respond to the military action and in what that response will mean for the U.S.
This use of force always has chains of unpredictable and often undesirable consequences that are, in many cases, very difficult for people to live through.
Andy Day, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
In health news, the U.S. lowering the number of recommended childhood vaccines.
President Trump has complained American kids get too many vaccines.
Looks like they're pumping into a horse.
And last month asked his health chief to review how other nations approach their own recommendations and get the U.S. on par. The Health and Human Services Department now says immunizations like the flu shot are no longer recommended, but instead up to family choice. HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. says the move protects kids, respects families, and rebuilds trust in public health. Medical experts, though, say overhauling the federal vaccine schedule could lead to fewer kids getting important shots and more disease. At the same time, the government says flu infections surged over the holidays, and by some measures, this flu season is already worse than the last, one of the harshest in recent history. Sagar Magani, Washington.
Coming up in 2 minutes, low gas prices, traffic, and weather together at 6:36.
I know that hiring can be challenging.
You got people here, man. You got guys asking for money for drugs all around here, right? Madison and Cicero. So we're going to go south towards my spot right now, right? We're going to go southbound now. Look at this place, man. I've been doing this 3 years, this route. I've been here 3 years. In the beginning, I didn't come to the west side, right? I knew the west side, and I had jurisdictions here when I was in the union, and I had to take care of schools. But if you look at my videos, I have videos coming through the west side, right? You tell me, has anything changed? Tell me if anything's changed. I'm a 57-year-old white dude. Got that? I know about the west side. I've been on the west side, and that's it. But now I've been driving on the west side for 3 years. 3. You can get videos of me driving on this exact street at the exact same time. Maybe even to the day. I gotta look at it. I got tons of videos. I gotta figure out how to use all those videos. That's what I'm trying to do this year. I'm trying to figure out what to do with all this information that I've collected for the last 3 years. And nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. Nothing. That's it. There is no other word to say. I don't want to swear. I don't want to be upset. I want to do 2026 in a different way. You heard me talking to the guy that was homeless. I said, I want to interview you, and we're going to do something. He says, nah, I got some things I got to deal with. But he talked to me. We talked for, 10 minutes there? Sorry that I was talking off camera, but I don't have a problem with talking with people. Now, the drug dealers that don't like me, or the drug pushers, I don't know what you call them out here. I don't know why you wouldn't like me talking to people in tent cities, and, well, I don't know what that has to do with drug dealing unless they're set up for drug dealing. You kind of get what I'm trying to say there? So why do you allow this to happen? Look, every block has an alderman, a state rep, a federal rep, a county rep, ward supervisor, precinct captain. Every area in our city has somebody representing them. At least 10 or 15 people that are on payroll, not working for free. None of those people I mentioned work for free. None. 0. Yet, we see this. We see this, right? It's in front of us, right? We're going to go down and see if the girls are working today, right? This is where they killed a dude, a prostitute and a guy killed the guy over here, right? You guys seen that case, right? The pimp killed the guy? I don't know if he killed the guy or killed the girl. I don't remember anymore. I gotta look up the case. There's so many cases out there starting to get all mushed into my head, man. I can't remember it because there's so many cases, right? When I started doing this, there's 1 or 2 and it was fresh in my head. And then as I started figuring it out, because I used to drive through and I've off-roaded there. I can do off-roading over. There's a cool spot to off-road back here. They actually fixed it up in the back. But then you start having shootings, killings, and all this kind of weird stuff, and you start going, whoa, what's that about, right? And you post it, and people make fun of you. Again, here, why are you videotaping prostitutes? Why are you videotaping hookers? What is that about? Why are you doing that? You're making them look bad. And then a week or two, I think I did one video, and it got about 3 million views. And a week later, there was a shooting here. I think they shot a girl out here. I think it was a girl. I don't know. I gotta double check my notes. But it starts to get like, I don't know what to say. It's like, what are you doing on the internet? When you show something, it's whatever it is. I can say whatever I want, right? But the video and the picture shows itself. If the guy's dealing drugs, he's dealing drugs. That's it. It's on the video. He's doing it. I'm driving, right? If you see somebody dealing drugs on this video, I'm not in their house. I'm not in their backyard. I'm on a street. I'm usually in my car. There's a girl right there walking right there. That's a hooker right there. You see that there? Right there. That's a young girl. That was a really young girl there. That's all I gotta say. She's out here doing hooker stuff, right? I'm not making her do it. I'm driving on the street. I ain't doing nothing. Same thing with drug dealing. Same thing with criminal activity. That one video, I got a whole bunch of flack. Oh, why didn't you stop them beating that dude? That dude over there on Dearborn and Van Buren, like, yeah, because I knew there was 4 guys hiding behind a corner waiting for somebody to come out. Sometimes they do those fights that are fake. They even punch each other just to make it look like it's real, right? So the point I'm trying to make here is like, this is where I'm getting to this year for 2020. I don't understand who you are when you say he on Cicero. What does that mean, man? What is that? What do you see? So what are you talking about? He on Cicero. Yeah, I've been on this street many a times, man. I don't know what you're talking about. See, that don't make no sense. But what is that? So what does that have to do with what I'm doing, man? Well, what does that have to do with what you know what? I don't like you, bro. Bye. I don't like you. Bye. There. I don't like you. There you go. There's another chick working, right? The 2 girls, those are young girls there, man. Those girls are really young there, man. They shouldn't be out there. I don't know. You make stupid comments. You know what? I don't want you on my page. How about that? We're going to get rid of you off my page. There you go. I don't want you on my page. Get lost. Get lost with your weird comments. Go do that somewhere else. That's what So, as I'm talking about weird people on my page, the weird person comes on my page. You get it? Get it? You just seen 2 young women walking around selling themselves on the street. Very young women. They looked young. Right? It looked like they were in their early 20s or something. That guy just drove by twice in that silver car. Right there, that guy. Right there. There was just a shooting here for somebody, right? We're going to go down to the other spot on 45th over there. So we're going to go straight down to my place now. But again, we just had a weirdo come on my page. He's on Cicero or whatever, right? Yeah, I am. I just showed you. There was 2 girls working prostituting, right? 2 girls walking around on the street prostituting. Really dangerous work. I think that's one of the most dangerous jobs that you can have. That you're selling your body to who knows who's driving around. You don't know who these people are, right? It's extremely dangerous. Extreme danger. Why isn't the city taking care of that, right? We want to check if these guys are starting their fire over here. There's a triple shooting here. Remember with the cars? We covered that. Shooting right here. We'll check if these guys are running their fire pit over here. So as I'm talking about the weirdos on my page making weird comments, we got a weirdo that made a weird comment. I don't get it. I don't understand why you on my page. What do you think I do this for? You think it's fun? You think it's cool that there was a chick there selling her body? Do you think that's funny? What do you think, it's a joke? Do you think it's a joke that a young girl has to sell her body on the street in the middle of the night and in a bad neighborhood? You think that's funny? What do you think that is? There's a bunch of people. We put that video up of the poor girl getting beaten. Did you see that one the other day from Chicago Ghetto 2? People are making fun of that. On my Twitter account, somebody says, what did she do? Like, what? What did she do? You have a person videotaping a guy beating a girl, and you're asking, what did she do? Yeah, I had that comment. I couldn't believe it. What kind of a human says that? That's beyond that garbage stuff that we just seen, right? Oh, this ain't the spot. It must be down. It must be another spot. Where did I miss it? Where they were starting the fire? Remember they were starting that fire around here somewhere? I don't know where it is, man. I'm all mixed up. Peoria Packing Company. Look at this. This is the new Peoria Packing Company. We'll go around, right? Did I miss the street where the fire pit was? Remember I did? I don't know. Oh, we're on Roosevelt. What's a little north of here? Oh, we'll go over here. So this is the new Peoria Packing House, by the way. It used to be on Lake Street. Remember that? Right there. So that's what I don't get. And that's what I'm going to start questioning in 2026. I want to start figuring out where the actual problem is, right? How do we get to a point where we have a Brandon Johnson? How do we get to a point that we have a Maduro, right? you can, and look, those of you who don't like Trump, to me, I voted for the guy I don't really like I told you, I don't like what he's doing with Mark Kelly, astronaut, war veteran. I mean, imagine this, Trump never been in the military, and he's messing with a dude that's in the military. Kind of nasty, right? That's nasty. And he's got Hegseth, who's a failed leader in the military. Hegseth's a failed leader. All his record's a failure. I've talked to military guys. They said, if you look at Hegseth's record, you know he's a failure. He's not a leader. Yeah, there's guys in the military can check what he's done, and I tell you, he's a failure. For that much time in the military, he didn't do this and this and this. He's a failure. He couldn't make it. You just talk to any military guy. I have friends. I have all kinds of stuff, right? So the point I'm trying to make here is this. There's both sides to either story. There's all kinds of opinions, and there's freedom of speech, right? There's projects here. Everybody knows that, right? I get that, and I don't mind that. But why are you weird? Why are you like a weird person? Why do you make weird comments when there's videos of women who have to sell their bodies, or they are selling their bodies in a dangerous neighborhood? Why do you make weird comments when women are getting beaten on a video? Why would you make weird comments about that? Don't you think that might be your sister or your mother? Why would you make a weird comment about that? I don't understand that. Do you think it's funny? Do you think it's funny what we just seen over there? Those young girls having to sell their body? Oh, they cleaned this guy out, right? No, he's over here. See that? He's blocking the... You can't walk there. You can't walk there. It's all messed up over there, right? Let's see this. I don't think it's funny. Maybe as I'm doing it, I try to use humor to soften my shock, right? That when I see something, it to me it's shocking, right? Because I don't think that's normal behavior. Some of this stuff that I see on the street, I didn't grow up that way, right? I don't think it's normal that people do certain things. Right? I don't know if I should go over there, right? See, he doesn't have it blocked over there. I don't know. Should I go over there? You guys want to check that out over there or what? Maybe I should come during the day. Yeah, he's burning something there. I can smell it. I'll come during the day. I probably shouldn't do that at night, right? Get messed with, right? I mean, I don't know. He's homeless. I don't know. Right, that dude right there, right? At least he's got the little, it's not blocked, right? I can smell the smoke. I don't want to get my clothes all burned and smell. So, but there you go, right? That guy's burning stuff right there, right? That's where the smoke was that one day I was over here last week. So yeah, that's what I don't get. And like I have my viewers like Trina, who says, yeah, I don't associate with people like that, right? She just blocks you, man. She has no patience for you, man. And other people are, maybe I'm too nice. I have some patience, but I block people. But yeah, I don't understand. And I talked about it last week a little bit. I think it's behavioral issues, right? Or mental issues. Is it from the COVID? Is it from drugs? Is it from, I don't know, some social thing that happened to people during the COVID? I don't know what it is, but why would you act a certain way when you see certain things, right? I get it. Like, the way I talk is a certain way, and I get aggravated and I get pissed when I see certain things, right? There's a baby cart right there. What the hell is that? There's a baby cart in the middle of Cicero Avenue. You see that there? That's weird. That was strange. But I don't understand. And then here I'll explain it this way. When I used to teach, there's a whole store empty. The kids used to do what's called horse playing. Everybody knows what horse playing is. Laughing. They do roasting and this and that. And I guess, I mean, I do that at home. My kids do it to me. I do it to my kids sometimes. I guess, I don't know. But when I was teaching, I didn't let them do that, right? Especially in the beginning when I was first started teaching. I said, no, I don't want to hear none of that stuff. Don't do it. And then, I don't know, maybe I got used to it or it just kept happening. So I got a little laxed on it. And sure enough, fights would happen. They would. They would always happen. You would have them saying things. The students would say things to each other, touch each other, push each other. Not really. I didn't allow none of that kind of like pushing contact. But you know, people touch each other, whatever. And sure enough, about 1 out of 6 times, maybe I'll say that's about the average there, they would end up into a fight. Why did you say that to me? I told you not to touch me, but yet they were touching each other. And I guess the reason I'm saying that story now is because it's the same thing that I see here in this environment. Right? I got all kinds of death threats and stuff. Don't show my kid's picture, right? Your kid's picture's on the internet and he's doing gangbanging. Your kid's got his 3 pitchforks up or the Latin King thing, or he's got a gang tattoo on his face and you're telling me not to show his picture, and he's murdered by the way, he's murdered, so he's dead. He's dead. You tell me I need to give respect to the guy, and like, he's dead, he got killed because he was gangbanging, and you say that I should give him respect. Yeah, I don't know what that means. What does that mean? Why didn't you give your child respect not to have him killed? You know, my family ain't the best, and I ain't come from a silver spoon. I don't even think I had a plastic spoon when I was growing up. I might have had no spoon. But if I got into trouble, my mom would tell me certain things. My dad would be a little stricter on me. He'd hit me and beat me once in a while and tell me some stuff. But if I was doing something that wasn't the appropriate thing, they would tell me it's not appropriate, that I should stay in school, shouldn't do certain things. Now, did I listen to them? Was I that best kid that I could have been? Probably not. But you know what? Like I told you guys earlier, I was in situations where I was homeless and all that. I figured out, and maybe I had that little voice in my head from my dad or my mom to get out of those situations, right? And that's what I don't understand. I have people that come on my page and they talk about certain weird things when you're talking about someone who is a criminal. When you're gangbanging and you have guns and drugs and you're putting it on TV, you're a criminal. When you're a teenager with a pistol in your hand, you're a criminal. To own a pistol in Illinois and anywhere in the United States, you got to be 21. And you're waving a pistol on a video, smoking weed, you're a criminal. You got tattoos of gangs on you, you're now a criminal gang member. That's who you are. And the last time I checked with gangs, they don't care that you tell them that. That's why they make the video, to say that they're into gangs. But what I don't understand is when they get killed and murdered or they're in prison or whatever they do, then their adult counterparts or their buddies, like the ones that have been threatening me the last week or two, tell me, what am I doing? I'm to slap you around, or you're going to get shot, or we're going to get you. Like, what is that? What kind of mental disease is that? That you go on the internet, flashing drugs, flashing guns, flashing gang tattoos, flashing gang signs, then you get killed doing that stuff. You get killed or arrested or whatever happens to you, and then you get all upset that it's on the internet. And that normal law-abiding people, the 95% of us, the 95% that don't do gang stuff, that don't carry around guns and smoke weed and make weird videos about gangs and drinking and women and whatever else. I don't even know what those videos do. I don't even know that, right? Because I don't, my kids listen to rap. I don't understand it. It's like maybe our parents, when they listened to rock and roll, they didn't understand rock and roll, right? I like heavy metal, and my parents don't really get into that, I guess. I don't know. They like the Beatles and Rolling Stones, and I liked other stuff, right? So maybe it's a generational thing, but what I don't understand is this. You get on these pages, you don't stop it, and then when something bad happens to your people, and I'm not talking about race here, I'm not talking about black or white, your people, the guys that you hang around with, the women and with girls, the men and the women that you hang around with, then you get all upset, huffy and puffy, I call it. Just like when those kids used to do that horse playing in my classroom, and then they punch each other, then they smash each other. And I said, that's why I don't allow it in my room. And I lock it down, take everybody's privilege. I said, we're not going to do this though. Yeah, I did group punishment. It's not the best thing to do, but group punishment works. So that's kind of where I want to leave it today, right? It's getting to be 7 o'clock. I started at 4. I had to only have a 3-hour video. Maybe I'll run the news a little bit. I don't know if I can or not. So it might make me over the 3-hour limit. But that's where I want to get to today. We just had one person commenting like that, a weirdo. I don't understand that. I really don't. And I'm not going to have tolerance for that this year. I really don't. And you're left or right, I don't care. You're a gangbanger criminal, I don't care. Again, you're invited to be on my page. I don't ask you for nothing. If you want to send me some money for coffee money, to buy my tires, to pay my bills, to help me with that, you're more than welcome. If you get a value out of my show, you want to donate something to me, fine. I got a Cash App. It's on my Twitter account. You can send me some money. Whatever. You can buy me dinner. You can buy me some gas. Give me a gas card. I don't care. I'm not asking you for it. I'm not asking you for it. But if you want to do that, that's fine. If you find value in what I do, then that's fine. But I don't understand those other people who come on my page. And you're no better than those liberal terrorists, the cyber terrorists. The liberal left-wing cyber terrorists. You're no different than them. You're no different than Maduro, who took advantage of his communism. He was a communist, right? He was appointed by Chavez, right? You know that, right? Down there, Chavez was during Chavez's time, he was a communist. He took over, and then Maduro came after Chavez died of cancer. Everybody knows that, right down there. And he took advantage of it. And then he lost an election, and he took advantage of that. You're no better than him. No better than him. See, I'm a guy that says I see stuff wrong and I say what it is. I have a strong opinion about stuff. That's what I do. I learned that from my mentors. I learned that from the guy that taught me how to do reporting. Because as long as it's a fact, you don't have to worry about it, John. All right? So 7:01.
Right now we have 41 degrees at 7 o'clock.
It's CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. Former Venezuelan President Nicholas Maduro and his wife enter not guilty pleas in New York City federal court after their capture in Venezuela. CBS's Matt Gutman.
Maduro, in a dark prison jumpsuit, was initially defiant, declaring through a translator that he's a decent man, was innocent of all the charges, and was still the president of Venezuela. Both he and his wife then pleaded not guilty. Maduro faces 4 federal drug and weapons-related charges. He was indicted during the first Trump administration in 2020.
On the U.S. military operation, Republican Senator Rand Paul comments.
Apparently this attack's been under planning for 3 or 4 months, and so there's plenty of time to ask Congress's permission.
A war powers vote is on the horizon as lawmakers return to Washington this week. President Trump has again called for a U.S. takeover of Greenland and has threatened U.S. action against Colombia and Cuba. Democratic Senate Leader Chuck Schumer.
What about Iran or Greenland? How is anything of this putting America first? The simple answer is that it's not.
The arrest of Nicolas Maduro sent oil stocks higher today. Chevron led the way. 2 sources tell CBS News that reps from petroleum giants Chevron, ConocoPhillips, and ExxonMobil are planning to meet with the Trump administration later this week to discuss Venezuela. The Trump administration takes the unprecedented step of dropping the number of vaccines the government recommends for every child. CBS's Cammie McCormick. Dr. Jason Goldman, president of the American College of Physicians, is warning parents not to trust the CDC.
It creates more chaos and confusion and adds to the hesitancy that does not need to exist.
He says the decision will lead to more disease and more confusion for parents.
There was no mandate based on this schedule. This schedule was a guideline and a recommendation.
Vaccines against 11 diseases are recommended, but not the flu, rotavirus, hepatitis A or B, or RSV. At least 35 people have been killed and 1,200 detained in Iran's economic protests. The figure came from the U.S.-based human rights activist news agency, which said that more than 1,200 people have been detained in the protests, which have been ongoing for more than a week. Jury selection starts in the trial of former Uvalde Schools police officer Adrian Gonzalez. He's one of the officers accused of being slow to respond to the deadly school shooting in 2022. CBS's Karen Waugh.
Adrian Gonzalez is the first law enforcement officer in Texas charged for failing to act during an active shooter situation. He's facing 29 counts of child endangerment and abandonment, and he's pled not guilty.
Gonzalez's attorney says his client tried to save children that day. This is CBS News.
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight.
You know, I don't want to say nothing. Whatever he has a right to his trial, my opinion is he should get the death penalty. Fuck that cop. He should have went in there and he should have saved those kids. That was the guy that was standing. It was the guy that was standing by the wall. There was the other guy in Florida too. They should prosecute that guy. Remember that guy in the Florida shooting? There was Uvalde, they didn't go in, and in Florida they didn't go in. What's that school shooting in Florida? Remember that one? He didn't go in either. He was hiding behind a pillar there. Yeah, we don't need a cop like that. You want to do that? You want to play that game? You don't be a cop, and you do that. You're just like Jason Van Dyke shooting that kid 16 times, man. You might shoot him once or twice, but you're starting to shoot a guy 16 times and he's on the ground already. Yeah, I think that's a little excessive there, man. You shouldn't probably be a cop. Or the guy who shot the lady down in Springfield area, right? With the hot pot of water. You're afraid of a hot pot of water. You shouldn't be a cop, man. I get it. It's a dangerous job. I get that. And yeah, some things are excessive, and maybe some people shouldn't be police officers.
Coverage due to cuts to Medicaid and the loss of the ACA tax credits.
Doug Bochart says his wife Shadeen has relied on ACA coverage for treatment of her ALS.
Her medical expenses were over $300,000.
But their tax credits have expired. Now the policy that used to cost $1,400 a month costs $2,100.
Congressmen and the senators need to put themselves in our position.
Cook County leaders say they're stepping up outreach to make sure affected people know their options. We're in Bronzeville. Jeff Buckles, News Radio 105.9. WBBM.
Local faith leaders are standing up for what they say are unfair property tax assessments for residents on the south and west sides of Chicago.
We are the lawyers on behalf of those who have erroneous taxes. We're going to file some cases.
Jeanette Wilson, senior advisor for Rainbow Push, says that while wealthy property owners downtown have the legal resources to fight back against unfair assessments, many low-income residents on the south and west sides do not. And that's where she and other faith leaders are stepping in.
We have seniors who will lose property because of these erroneous tax increases.
Southside faith leaders say that some Inglewood residents saw an 80% increase. On the west side, Reverend Marshall Hatch says the residents in Lawndale saw a 99% increase, in West Garfield up to 133%, while properties like Trump Tower received a 39% reduction.
And so clearly, Donald Trump gets the tax break, and on the west side, we get the tax bill. This cannot stand.
The faith leaders send a warning to elected officials that in addition to legal action, they will be on a campaign to effect change at the polls this year. At Trump Tower, Brandon Eisen, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Cook County Assessor Fritz Kagi has responded to the WBBM newsroom, calling the property tax increases flat out unfair, blaming the Board of Review for approving huge cuts for large corporations. Affordable apartments are at the center of a new proposal for Chicago's South Side.
Southside-based Green Line Communities and 5T Development Partners proposing to turn the former Loretto Academy in Woodlawn into the Lofts at Loretto Academy. 55 units of affordable housing. A public meeting on that proposal is being held this week. Developers tell Block Club Chicago the project is a direct response to community concerns about affordability and would offer studios, one-bedroom and two-bedroom apartments for low-income Chicagoans. It comes with an estimated price tag of $43 million, money that would come from the low-income housing funds at both the federal and city levels. Loretto Academy closed in the 1970s and was recently listed as one of Chicago's most endangered buildings. Andy Day, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
The Chicago community is mourning the loss of a well-known chef and entrepreneur.
Decades-long staple of Chicago's dining scene, Steve Chiappetti, has died at the age of 58. A native of Chicago's South Side, Chiappetti was inspired from an early age by the traditions of European cooking. His first restaurant, Mango, opened in the 1990s, and he later went on to open several others, including Mediterranean Cafe Grapes and Rhapsody at the Chicago Symphony Center. Most recently, he served as Vice President of Food and Beverage for Chicago-based Dreamweaver Hotels, leading the food and beverage vision for several Chicago hotels. Chiappetti was featured on WBBM several times, as well as many other Chicago media outlets. He died unexpectedly on Friday, January 2nd. Carolina Garibay, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Illinois has recorded a historic legal win in its first civil hate crime case. Two former Carroll County residents were ordered to pay over $90,000 after a judge found they spent months harassing their black neighbor with racial slurs, hate symbols, and a noose in plain sight. Attorney General Kwame Rowell said the decision sends a strong message that hate will not be tolerated. This is the first time Rowell's office has used new powers granted under a 2018 amendment to the state's hate crime law. 7:08, traffic and weather together on the 8th.
Well, that's about it. I'm over my 3-hour limit. I got some comments and then I'll go. $43 million for 50 units is not affordable. That's a ripoff. We're being ripped off. The taxpayers are. That's the first move. If you're spending $43 million on 50 units, think about it. That's almost what? $700,000 a unit. There's no way that's affordable. Absolutely, that's not. That's crony contracting, and that's it. They're loading up the contractors for the next election. Right. Fritz Kagi saying it's the assessor fault is a liar, scumbag, thief. He's a scumbag thief. He's the assessor. He's the one who assessed the fee. Imagine how these guys lie in our faces. I was just about to swear. You know what I was just about to say. If you watched my show, you know what I was about to say. That motherfucker, that son of a bitch, he's the fucker who assessed the land, who made the shit go up. That son of a bitch says right in your fucking face on the fucking radio, it's the other guy's fault because he reduced the taxes of Trump. What the fuck is that? That's you wore lipstick. That's why I had to take advantage of you. Almost. If not worse. That's what you just heard. Fritz Kagi said it wasn't his fault when he's the assessor that assessed the land. It is his fault. He's the criminal who stole from all the people. And he says I was at a place. He was against Boykin. Boykin was running against Kagi. I was at that I was filming that, and the other guy, Patrick guy over there. I was down at the Woodlawn, I was down on 95th Street there, at the library. What's that library called? Woodson over there? Go look it up. I was there when he was running for election. That's what you get. It's what those damn MAGAs say all the time on my page. That's what you get. That's what we got. We could have elected somebody else. I don't know if it had another outcome. But the real story of that isn't that it was Fritz Kagi's doing it. It was gentrification doing it. They cleaned out all those black families, those strong, hardworking black families who survived all of the drug wars. Oh man, they just had an accident here. See that there? That's a car accident. Right? Something just happened right there. See that there? There's something that just happened. See that? The guy's door is wide open there. See that there? I don't know what that is. You see that door is wide open? Yeah, oh yeah, that's a bad car accident there. See that there or something? Yeah, there you go. Don't you see that bad car accident right in front of us? Oh yeah, they're hurt. See that right there? It's really bad. Looks like somebody ran into somebody else. See that there? SubX.News, 7:13 p.m. We're at Archer and Kedzie. It looks like somebody rear-ended somebody there. See that there? That's going northbound there. And somebody wasn't watching something there. They rear-ended it. That looks like that minivan rear-ended that guy in that SUV there. See that there? That's a pretty bad accident. It looks like it just happened there. See that there? Watch out. Be careful. Pay attention. So, I think that's... See that guy driving on my side. What? I think that's where we're going to end the video, because I'm actually way too long on my video. Is this way. We need to pay attention. We either get into a car accident, or some guy like Fritz Kegie rips us off and gets on the TV and then lies and says it wasn't him when he's the assessor. We need to start paying attention to these people who steal from us. Got that? So there you go. SubX.News signing off. 7:14 p.m. $7:14 p.m. January 5th, 2026. Everybody have a great night. Be safe. Be careful.